Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Brought to you by J. Michael, fashion for everyone at 7:26 right now. Let's get our headlines. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
We are good.
Great.
My camera seems to have dropped just a tad. So
You look great. Sounding great.
Yes.
Looking great.
Thank
What's up?
you. So we've got a number of things this morning. So the first one up is the Cayman Athletics Association continues to be under pressure from the fiasco that happened at Carifta for the track and field event in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
The minister spoke about it in an interview that aired over the weekend, where essentially he said that the ministry could withdraw funding from associations like the Cayman Islands Athletic Association. And he also mentioned the Cycling Association or any other local sporting associations if they do not run their organizations in a manner that's, professional and in keeping with what he said was under questionable circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I know you spent a lot of your time on your, I'm trying to get over a cold. Anyway, a lot of your time on the show talking about it. It's a pretty astonishing story. I know Blake doesn't really know too much about what's going on, but I'll fill him in after. But yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. So he talked also about the fact that had he been on the Cayman Athletic Association when the sex scandal broke years ago, he thinks the entire association should have resigned, the entire board, and none of them did, of course.
Yeah, that's
so
astonishing too.
Yeah. So we're going to continue to put the pressure on. Another shocking revelation of the weekend. Remember the little child that died in Cayman Brac some months back? Her mother actually did a video over the weekend, which she tagged the CMR in, basically saying that the RCIPS are not doing enough to investigate the incident, and she believes that her daughter was murdered.
Wow.
But this is pretty shocking. And so we're going to try to dissect some of that. But, a lot of people are questioning the mom in terms of her involvement and asking what more she could have done, because if she believes her daughter was murdered, then surely she should be assisting the police in the investigation. And it doesn't seem like she's provided them any information that would lead them to believe that that is the case. So,
Are they still investigating?
No, I mean, I understand the investigation, found nothing. And so the autopsy found nothing. And so, I guess maybe some things kind of stay a bit open, but not.
What did she die from?
They never released the results of the autopsy, so that's something the mother would have to share.
Well, so we don't know then.
Yeah. I mean, I know, but they've never officially, because that's a matter for the family.
Yeah.
So it's bizarre. Congratulations to Caymanian actress Grace Byers. Gili is her former name. She gave birth to a baby boy recently with her husband, who's also an actor. You guys might remember Grace from that show. Empire. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations. She's a new mom.
Nice.
So news headlines for today.
Congrats. All right. Catch Sandy right now on Bobo 89.1 FM. We'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday headlines.
Fantastic.
Our segment.
Bigger,
Better,
bolder.
The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's community radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman.
Live, direct.
It's the cold, hard truth. Now. Join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. We are starting a new and absolutely gorgeous, and beautiful week. Ooh, honey chill. I gotta do some squats this morning so I can be seen in the camera. We need to get that sorted out. I need a cable that's long enough to run a new camera. But oh my gosh, the simple things that you can't always find in the Cayman Islands. It's quite interesting. We'll get there slowly but surely. So lots of interesting things, folks, going on. So happy Monday. I trust that you guys had a fabulous weekend. We continue to monitor the situation, not just monitor, but be an active participant in the situation with the Cayman Islands Athletic Association. So let me make a few comments this morning because, I heard over the weekend that apparently Sidoni Mothersill was speaking to politicians saying that I'm going too hard on her. And I thought to myself, wow, I am dumbfounded. What's the word? Gabsmacked. Is that the word? Sounds close, but it might be a little bit off. Gobsmacked. I don't even know. Just shocked and speechless, in an unbelievable state of like, what did I just hear? She said who and what and what? I'm confused, to say the least, that this adult woman who is in her 40s, a mother, a wife of this pedophile guy, actually has the audacity to talk about that we are impacting her mental health because we are talking about her actions, past and present, and what she has done to Caymanian children. I can't even believe it. The nerve of her to try to play the mental health card. And you see, this is a whole new thing, folks. Let me be very, very crystal clear about what's happening here. Everybody now has mental health issues when it is convenient for them to do so. Yes? Everyone suffers from depression. Everyone had a rough childhood. Everybody, is, having a mental health break. We are abusing and misusing this mental health ticket. And it's so sad because the people who actually need to use it and have a legitimate mental health concern, they're oftentimes the people who don't use it. It's being used by people who have, for her specifically, who have, just ignored the health and well-being of her children. And so that's where I'm just like, wait a minute. You're asking me to be overly concerned about the mental health of a woman who has for years now ignored complaints, even before her husband was arrested, ignored complaints from young girls and their mothers. And she now wants to play the victim card? Y'all have got to be crazy. I mean, honest to God, I get it. We are in the age of mental health awareness and mental health awakening. But you know what? When all this fiasco was going on with her husband back in 2016, 2015, and before with her young girls, nobody was paying attention. There was no talk show that was saying, oh, really? Let us really call a spade here and ask some really serious questions. So now that we are educating the people, we're asking questions. We're saying, hold on, this cannot be something that we continue to allow to happen in our communities and not be addressed. I'm getting all sorts of ridiculous questions and queries. Let me, for the record, be very, very clear with all of you. Our children have always needed protection from predators. They've not always gotten it but they've always needed it. And so if you think that Sidoni, this is for you. You wouldn't answer the phone last week, but you could pick up the phone and call other people and ask them to intercede on your behalf. If you actually think that I care who you call, right? The only person you need to be calling on at a time like this is Jesus. Seriously. You need to call on him in a sincere and honest way and change your behavior. My goodness. Y'all are just out of control. Oh, Sandy is impacting my mental health. She has me upset. So all this time that these children were complaining to you about what your husband was doing to them, that wasn't something that got you upset, huh? That wasn't here nor there, apparently. I see. Those children just didn't matter to you. Listen to me. When I tell y'all that I really am not going to waver on my position when it comes to these people, and if I'm putting the pressure on you and you're finally feeling some pressure, well, praise the Lord for that. Because guess what? We're going to keep the pressure on. My apologies for this camera. It's kind of driving me crazy. Yes, we're going to keep the pressure on you until you do the right thing. It's so simple. I don't hear her calling anybody saying that she's going to resign. Wouldn't that be nice? If you were feeling so pressured, I know I can't take the stress of this, then resign. You will have no stress related to the association and the Caymanian people saying enough is enough if you simply resign. You'll have all the other stresses associated with that man that you have there that you don't want to be honest about, but that's your business. Then it becomes a personal affair, and I don't care. He'll molest somebody in Washington, D.C. I'm sure of that because they never stop. And those parents in America know precisely how to deal with the likes of him. That I can assure you of. You see, what has them upset, folks? It's very, very simple. Here I am reading the court files. We can't argue with what the court said. We can't argue with what the extradition paper said, right? All of that stuff is being read to you. Some of you, for the very first time ever, are like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what I'm hearing. But what you're hearing is the truth, and it has always been the truth. It's nothing new. What's new is I'm pulling the documents and I'm reading from the papers, and everybody's like, oh, what? Yes, honey child. That's what's been going on in that association. So, Sidoni, let's be clear now. You can run to anybody you want. The truth remains what it is. And you know that you have done wrong. You know your behavior in that association on so many different levels. The most egregious, of course, in my opinion, is you put our children at risk, and you've known that your husband has harmed these children. I want to talk about their mental health for a second. And then y'all want me to sit down and really care now that you talking about you're stressed out because of me and you're going to have a miniature breakdown because of me. Girl, you better get your life together. You better get it together. Because I quite frankly don't care about your mental health. I care about children who are afraid. Somebody said to me yesterday, oh, get these children to speak up. And I said, are you crazy? I said, these children are minors. They're afraid. I mean, stay tuned this morning because we're going to talk about another predator. There are adults, folks, who are afraid to speak up, much less children, for retaliation and what is going to happen to them. And y'all believe that I'm going to be more concerned about Sidoni Mothersill, a big, hard back woman, right? Who has demonstrated in the past that she's tough as nails? I don't know what universe she's living on, what planet she's on, but it clearly is not a shared planet with me. Let me be very, very clear, folks. I want to demonstrate to you guys, I'm trying to pull something up here, how incredibly stupid people can get with me. And oh gosh, what is this app called again? And I want people to understand that I take no prisoners. On this particular topic, I do not waver. Yeah. I have been to court for standing up for victims. That's my sole conviction. Harassing someone because I spoke the truth. And nobody wants to speak the truth in this country when it comes to the predators that we've had that have had free reign for far too long from one generation to the next. We don't want to talk about them. You know why? Because in too many cases, these are people who are family members, or fathers, or uncles, or brothers. So of course, we feel a way about it. Well, I tell you what, I'm of the opinion that honestly, if we don't speak up and we don't stop this, when will it ever stop? You know what is so crazy though? Sidoni has a choice, folks. She can simply resign. And I don't hear that choice being discussed for her, which in my opinion is quite unfortunate. I don't hear her talking about, her mental health is in such jeopardy that she's actually going to do the right thing. Why not choose that option? It's sickening that people like her now want to play the victim card. So let me share with you all some of the messages. Not some, because when I tell you it's a minority of people, it's clearly people who have some sort of relationship with her, some sort of friendship with her, that want to defend this type of behavior. But I want to share with you all how ridiculous the behavior can get, and how ridiculous people can be trying to defend this. I want to show you all some examples of exactly what I mean. And don't waste your time messaging me and picking up your phone to think that I'm actually going to care about what you have to say, because I don't. Be very, very clear. When you're defending people like Sidoni Mothersill, I simply cannot entertain your illogical comments because it doesn't make any sense. Now, don't WhatsApp me. I don't want anybody WhatsApping me for a second, because I'm going to do a screen share from my phone. So of course, if you WhatsApp me, that's going to show up on the screen as well, right? So don't WhatsApp me. I want to share something with you all here this morning. Let me see if I can pull it in now. All right. So here's one said person who was messaging me last week from Wednesday, because on Wednesday's show was when I really, I suppose, went for the jugular on this. Let me see if I can make that any bigger. Hold on one second. I want to make sure y'all see it for what it is. Yes? Oh, yes. Here we go. So this person has the audacity to message me. Says, "Good day. Why is all the attention is circling around Sidoni's personal life when she's not the only person that made the decision to remove the young lady involved?" And they corrected themselves. They meant to say circulating. Well, now, folks, without a doubt, we do know that, in fact, she was the only person that made that decision. Others stood by and placated her. We heard in the words of the gentleman last week who said, and for those of you who may have missed it, I'm going to try to pull it up here in a second. Let me just see. Who said that indeed she was the one who not only told him about, she needs to be removed, but when given the choice of how to do it, Mr. Archer said he gave her a choice. Yeah? 2 choices. Call her father, Lance Barnes, or have her removed by security. Keep in mind that this is a woman who worked with Lance. She knows the father quite well. He was president when she was in this secretarial position. He removed her husband from the athletic association. So naturally, she has his phone number. The other guy said, I don't really know Lacey, but I know who her dad is. I could have called him. That was an option that was very viable and on the table. Nothing wrong with that option. She decided to not exercise that option and instead made the decision to have this girl removed in a very spectacular fashion. The only person that demonstrated any modicum of respect for the process was actually Mr. Archer himself. He said he tried to, he said to her, hold my hand, try to make it look like nothing was really going on. The fact that he had to do all of that to begin with tells you, the people, how incredibly wrong this was. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that this should have never been done that way. And obviously, despite him trying to be very diplomatic on Friday, it's obvious that he felt a particular way about it. Oh, my apologies. Someone is saying that she hung up on me and I accidentally said she didn't answer. My apologies. Yes, when I called her last week, she did hang up the phone after she recognized the voice. So Sidoni has, as them old people said, made her bed hard. Now, this is interesting because this person says all this attention circulating around her personal life. And I'm like, hold on a second. You all see my comment? I said she's the lead of it all. Her personal life is impairing her role at CIAA, now CAA. Made the point pretty clear this morning that she's exposing her kids to this man even after his conviction. So this person goes on to try to defend her further and said, no, she is not the lead. The president is. Well, this is why my position has always been that they all need to resign, not just her. Because in title, the president is the lead. In reality, Sidoni is the lead on this and many other issues. Someone said to me, well, this isn't the Dalroy that I know because he used to have some backbone. I don't care. I don't know Dalroy, and I don't know if he has backbone or not. He claims his mama didn't raise no wimp, but it seems like he's being a wimp for Sidoni Mothersell. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. I know that you still have quite a bit to say probably about this very topic, but I thought let me squeeze in a call, if you let me, to address the same topic, but just to sort of take the discussion a little further than I did last week. You see, well, first of all, this thing about mental health, what usually happens with people is that when they have to address an issue, and if that issue they're supposed to address, they are uncomfortable because they are guilty, they tend to shift the topic a little bit. They forget about the topic. They say, oh, my mental health. If she wants to say something about this, and I don't want to be unkind to her, and I don't think you have been unkind to her. This is just tough stuff. People suffered as a result of this. If she wants to address the issue, she should say whether she was involved in pulling strings in that matter. If she wants to say something, because that's what people want to learn from her. And if she has any knowledge, perhaps better than the current, if she has any knowledge to add, which we haven't heard yet, which might help us to understand, she can do that. Mental health, forget about it. I have been fighting the judiciary for 9 years alone without using a lawyer. I have got mental health. You have mental health. Everybody has got mental health in that sense. Okay.
It's called stress in life. I mean, it's not even mental health. They're just abusing this whole mental health situation.
Exactly. It's a bit stressful. You have to manage it. You've got ups and downs. These are ups and downs of life. Now, about the interview by Mr. Bernie Bush, Minister of Sport.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come to him in a second, honey child. But go ahead.
You know, when I first heard it, I said to myself, "Where's the beef?" Because he seemed to be saying, "Well, Yeah, he was saying, well, you see, it is because of egos and this and that and so on. But really, at the end of the day, what you need is a solution. Now, he has great credentials as a person, community, sport, and everything. But I think, and he was quite right when he said that, and you reported that this morning as well, that you can't interfere as a government, interfere in the association's affairs. And he's right about that. But he went ahead to say, oh, but you see, if I interfered, we would be suspended. No. Let's stop making this excuse about being suspended. They don't suspend an association on a light an issue such as this. Usually they would have to write you a letter and it will take a long time. Let's not use it as an excuse. But he's right, he shouldn't interfere. But you see, what he needs to do, government should, in my view, he should, if I were advising him, and I hope he's listening, I would engage the association and first of all tell them, I am not, as a government minister, I cannot make individual decisions for you. I cannot and make decisions for you, but I'm a government minister. I'm in charge of policy. If there is a solution such as a policy change or a legislative change which I can do to assist you, I'm happy to do that. But before I do that, I want to find out from you what happened. You talked about, how there was no quota. I want to find out how she was approved to be a coach. I want to find out why you revoked her accreditation. Why wasn't it that you were not the ones trying to say, she was already approved, we want her to participate? Why was it that you were fighting her at an international level? I want to find out this. And then he can say, I'm not asking you so that I can make your decision, but I'm a minister. I have to be accountable to cabinet and I have to be accountable to legislative assembly. And then he can tell them, I want to make a statement, a ministerial statement in parliament so that our electorate can know what happened. I want to also submit a cabinet paper to inform cabinet as to what happened, to inform, not to judge. Okay. And then once he does that, then he can then make those statements, and the public will say, well, yes, you are holding them accountable. At the moment, he hasn't done enough to bring it to a conclusion. And because he hasn't brought it to a conclusion, I think that Lacey and the athletes are now feeling like they've got nowhere to run, pun intended. They have nowhere to run because they feel they've been treated unfairly. But then they are saying, but who is going to bring this to a conclusion? He must hold those people accountable, and he can hold them accountable without interfering in what they are doing. He needs to write to them, I think, on those lines. It should be able to help. This is old advice from the old government lawyer, retired attorney.
Thank you so much.
All that. Thanks very much.
All right. Appreciate it. So I tell you what, folks, it is very, very evident to me that, and I see some of your comments coming in, that this man, Sidoni's husband, somebody said he's the one with mental health issues. Well, he's just a sick individual. I don't know anything about him having mental health issues. Just a reminder, folks, if you message me now, it's going to be showing up on the screen. So be mindful of WhatsApping me on my personal number, because that's the screen I'm reading from at the moment. So let's continue to read, because again, Sidoni mother still, even just last week, wasn't concerned about the mental health of Lacey, who her father has said that she's had some struggles before as a young teenager. You can imagine an adult playing the mental health card, but didn't think about just days before how her disgusting, actions would impact the mental health of a young lady who doesn't have the, as we get older, folks, we get tougher. That's life. You got to toughen up. So by the time you reach my age and above, you have been through a few things in your life. You're tough as nails. And the things that used to impact you when you were 15, 20, 25, even 30 and 35 no longer impact you in the same way. It's just called life. And you toughen up yourself. So Sidoni trying to play the mental health card. This person goes on to say, again, trying to say that she's not the president that this guy is. Well, Delroy is to be held accountable in this moment in time. That I agree with. Then she says, how is exposing the kids when the man left Cayman years ago? How is she exposing the kids when the man left Cayman years ago? I think at the end of it all, really, a personal revenge is on her, and not so much the young lady was escorted off the premise. I don't understand this. And not so much that the young lady was escorted off the premise. So this person, again, is confused. I say she's leading them, not a question, because I've always known this to be the case. We finally got confirmation on Friday from Mr. Archer, who was in direct communication with her, that she was the one leading the whole situation. And I go on to say, personal revenge on who? No one cares about Sidoni outside of CIA, formerly CIAA. She brought this attention on herself. People need to understand the full story, and that's why we did a 360 analysis last week, Wednesday. I don't even know her, so it can't be personal. This person goes on, right? I say, funny enough, more athletes who do know her are coming forward, all horrible things to say about this woman. She received numerous complaints of abuse from parents and ignored them. So then, of course, this woman then tries to put Miss Pauline, who was on the show last week, Thursday, in a bad light, talking about, oh, her and Lance have a relationship and everything will be revealed in due course. Don't reveal it in due course, honey child. Reveal it now. Now is the time. So let me be very clear. I don't care what Lance has going on in his personal life. Okay? What does that have to do with Sidoni's decision? But look at the irony of it, right? On the one hand, oh, don't talk about Sidoni's personal life and her child molesting husband, but let's talk about Lance's personal life, because somehow that puts a twist on the story that makes it more interesting. I was like, what? Your logic is starting to lose me here. Then she says, okay, Lacey did nothing wrong. Fine. But why bring up Atto to rehash the situation with the victims? Hear this now. Hear this. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Because hear the stupidity. This is what I have to deal with. I'm getting my tea a little bit closer to me. I should have asked Miss Stacy to put something in this tea this morning, because Lord knows, some days I can't take the foolishness. Here it is now. These victims have moved on with their lives. What about them? Excuse me? What did you presumptuously just say? Victims have moved on with their lives? May I ask how you would know that? Are you a victim of Atto Stevens? You people, lady, disgusting. How can you, have you ever taken the time to speak with any victim at all, much less his particular victims? I have never met a victim of sexual abuse and sexual assault who gonna talk about a few years later, they have moved on with their lives. These people are so broken. They become suicidal. Right? They get involved in drugs. I mean, you think that they have moved on? And so you think that we should just drop this? I couldn't even believe what I was saying. What I was seeing, my apologies. Moved on, really. So I say then, if they moved on, they wouldn't have been calling me up to the day before. Moved on? And I say it's very relevant that his wife had denied victims justice. Y'all are missing the point here. This was not a situation that she didn't know anything about or that she was unaware about. She fully knew because victims went to her and complained, and she did nothing. No, well, hold on now, hold on. Let me correct that. She didn't do nothing. She said, I don't believe you and you are a liar and my husband would not do these things. She denied victims justice. What about their mental health? So I say it's very relevant that his wife has denied victims justice and continue to this day to protect him. She should not be in that position for that reason alone. She needs to step down. I go on to say, just like all others involved in the cover-up around sexual abuse, they will be accountable even if it's years later. Oh, why bring it up now? The victims have moved on. Really? Let's talk about it. I say, go talk to Larry Nassar, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, priests, and there's a long list of people years later in the hashtag #MeToo movement who have been held accountable for egregious behavior that may have happened 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. Most of them never stopped, to be clear. They've been victimizing people for years. And I say, yeah. What's the other one's name? Oh God, the one that had his own little private island there. Him and Jeline. Hold on. Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever. Those two. Let's not forget those two. Sex offenders, former socialite. You think that if people ignored what she did years ago, oh, the victims have gotten over it? She was just found guilty in 2021. After years of making children available and young girls available to Jeffrey Epstein. The world is no longer in a position to just, oh, let's just move past it and get over it. And we will not be doing that here in Cayman any longer either. Now, I know this is going to make some of y'all very uncomfortable because some of y'all child molesters and rapists right now are wondering when your card might be called up. Yeah? Then she wants to talk about somebody else. You see, this is deflection at its best. Oh, there's somebody else in the association. I don't want to show that parent's number because I'm going to quickly scroll by there. So there's somebody else in the association who, has been mentally and emotionally taken advantage of, not sexually, by coaches. And I said, okay, and you're comparing that to what? Sexual abuse? Do you know that sexual abuse is not done in isolation? That has a mental health impact. That has an emotional health impact. I don't even know what you people are talking about. I'm at a loss. What I would suggest to you, however, is don't waste your time coming to me with foolishness like this. You're looking for sympathy for Sidoni, a woman who does not even reside in the Cayman Islands any longer. She still owns the house with her mother here in Savannah Meadows, but she resides in Washington. Can y'all please explain to me why I must be concerned about her over our children? That has been the problem all of this time. Sidoni has gotten the red carpet rolled out for her in her mind. She's a legend. Yeah? And no one has ever been able to stand up to her and say, Madam, you have harmed our children and you need to be held accountable for that. At one point, you were making $70,000 per annum on the backside of the people of the Cayman Islands. Performance athlete, that's okay, that's great. But what have you really contributed to this society? If y'all want the God's honest truth about her contributions, you need to ask yourself how many of our athletes, even just up to this last Carifta, she was trying to hold back. Y'all want to hear a dose of the cold hard truth? You know the young man, Devonte, what's his last name? Hold on here now. Devonte, oh gosh, my apologies. Howell, he won the 100-meter, right? That was his sport. He got 100-meter gold. Let me tell y'all what she was doing to him right before his performance. Apparently he was overseas training and doing other stuff. And in order to qualify for Carifta, he ran and sent the qualification. Oh, no. Sidoni is telling him, hear how much she's for the youth of Cayman. She's telling him because he ran indoors, that will not suffice. That's not good enough. You need to come to Cayman and run outdoors in order to make your qualifying numbers. And because he has other stuff going on, I think he might have actually been recovering from an injury. His coach said, no, he's not going to do that, because although he's prepared to run, he doesn't want him to overexert himself and have this injury that still hasn't quite resolved itself flare up even further. And so he will run. He provided the test times that were needed, the qualifying times. But she's pressuring these kids, no, you have to come back to Cayman, knowing that a lot of them were overseas. They were, and there was another young man too who also won, and she was doing the same thing to him. This is not a woman who is really for our athletes. I don't care what her title is in the association. And once again, Mr. Delroy, Mr. Francis, they all sit there and do nothing. What about the other board members? Somebody was asking me this yesterday. Right? And let me see if I can find the other board member. Somebody says, yes, he's in school in the US. Yeah, that wasn't good enough for him. Yeah, that was not good enough for him, for her, my apologies. She was like, oh, he has to come to Cayman, knowing that it's impossible sometimes for these athletes. Ask if she's funding the ticket too while you're at it, right? For these athletes to be making these trips and that sort of thing. She is incorrigible. She's impossible to work with. None of the athletes really care for her or their parents. But yet that's who we have there. Well, Bernie Bush addressed the issue. Oh, poor Bernie. I don't even know what to say about him on a good day. Lord Jesus. Let me sip my tea for a second. Lord, y'all got to do better in West Bay. Please. The next election, number one, can we have some decent candidates running? Because if y'all don't run, the people will have no choices. And I mean that for all constituencies, not just West Bay, but West Bay in particular has a brain drain problem when it comes to elected officials. At least three of the West Bay candidates, three of the West Bay representatives, MPs, in my humble opinion, have got to go. And I hate to say it, Bernie, but you're included in the three. Don't get offended now because y'all like to get up in your feelings. He'll be calling somebody soon talking about his mental health. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Not too bad, honey. How you doing?
Good. I don't think it's been mentioned, but I believe the government needs to do an audit.
Oh, that's coming, honey child.
And not only this association that the government funds, but all associations.
Yes.
That the government funds, to find out where this money is going, what it's being spent on, and how it's being spent on. I think the people need to step up and stand up and say they've had enough. Absolutely. And for the record, last week, Wednesday, we mentioned that this particular group, CIAA, has been unsuccessful with answering questions about their finances before. So if government never stopped giving them money, they certainly have asked the questions about why are your books not adding up? Well, then that's when you just freeze the money and say no more until it's applied to us.
Absolutely.
You know, there's too much pussyfooting going on. There's too much cover-up going on. There's too much BS going on.
Absolutely.
And when you were speaking about the victims, people who have been victimized are victims all their lives.
Exactly. Thank you.
They choose, and I'll say we choose, not to be victimized any longer.
Yes.
But we live with this every day of our life.
Absolutely. Thank
and
you.
especially when you're a child.
Oh my God.
That goes on with you
forever.
And you do stuff. You
Yeah.
do get into drugs. You do attempt suicide. You do have a screwed up head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The hell with her, Sidoni, or any of the rest of them. Like you said, it's about the children. And enough is enough.
Thank you so much, caller. I appreciate it.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. So it should be as simple as that. It should be as simple as that. You know, I am discouraged this morning that I even have to address an adult and her complaints. She has no room to complain. But rightfully, the caller said, and I pointed this out last week, there have been questions surrounding the membership of this organization. There have been questions surrounding money with this organization. I told y'all what Sidoni was up to. The woman is a dishonest person to her core. When you have to go and get people in your church to go and sign up for membership just to keep you on the executive, I think that might be a clue that you're really not meant to be there. Right? When you have to pad the membership and you pay for it and the numbers still don't add up. Like I said, go and look at the lawsuit from Delroy. The current president was suing the association since he claims his mama didn't raise a wimp. Mr. Delroy, you care to tell us the true story behind that, which we already know? You were fighting Sidoni Mothersill. How did that get buried so quickly? Because you levied accusations against her about how did the membership double from one year to the next. And they're all her church people and her friends to keep her in a position. You were demanding records that the association was refusing to give you. Can I ask you now as president, do you have those records? Are you satisfied with how all of those people became members? What changed? What happened? How did you get so placated all of a sudden? Someone has taken the time oh God, we have a death that we're hearing about this morning. Someone has taken the time to send us some information on the membership. This person says, Melissa is saying that it's Carifta's rules for an athlete to qualify at home. That's foolishness. The local federation sets the qualifying standards and rules. And where are these qualifying standards and rules set? Clearly, Michelle, I didn't see Michelle's comment, to be honest, but clearly that can't be the case because they didn't run in Cayman. They put their foot down and they said to her, no. The athletes and their coaches know what's best for them, not Sidoni Mothersill. She could care less really about these kids. And they put down their foot and they said these kids are not coming to Cayman. Imagine all three of the young men who won gold and bronze and was the other one a silver, that place and high ranking medals for the track and field would not have been there had it been for Sidoni Mothersill. Y'all make that sink in for a minute. Right? Had they just, like everybody else, been to her, they would not have been there. And Cayman would not have had those medals. Sidoni has a whole slew of questions that she needs to answer, quite frankly. Let's talk about Bernie Bush. Alejandro says Bernie's going to have bad days coming, more bad days coming than you, Sandy. Well, poor him. I don't even know what to say, but I listened to a part of his interview and it was difficult listening to it, first of all. It was so all over the place that God knows I was just like, huh? Say what? Say who? There was a lot that Bernie said that I could unpack, but geez, peace. That would be a whole other show. One of the things that I found interesting that he said is that, he thought that Lacey was focusing on the wrong thing and she needed to talk about how for years this association has been in shambles. He said even when it was under her father's leadership, it has been in shambles. And I thought about that for a second. And I'm thinking, why is that Lacey's job? Lacey wasn't here as a mature adult who's a member of this association or trying to be a member of this association, talking about all the issues. She had a situation that happened to her. This is very situational now. A specific thing that happened to her. She did a live stream about that incident and why she felt like that was wrong. And then as part of that live stream, she brought up what she thought were all these other issues in relation to the care of the athletes that she's been hearing about for a minute. I think you missed the point, Bernie. I'm not really sure what you think Lacey was doing. But here's the thing. Why is it the responsibility of a 24-year-old young lady to be the catalyst of change for this organization when you, the minister, who has been involved in sports from Jesus was a baby, yeah, have been a member of this same association, have been president of this same association? If all of this stuff has been going on for so long and you put yourself out there as someone who cares about our young athletes and blah, 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 why haven't you done something about it? Why are you expecting a 24-year-old child to change an association that has been around longer than her? I'm confused. You haven't had the balls or the gumption to do it, but yet you want a 24-year-old, basically a child to you, to be able to affect change in this country with a dysfunctional association? I don't understand it. I'm trying to stretch my Achilles heels as we speak here, folks, literally. Been having some problems in the last week with some Achilles heel pain. So if you see me stretching, that's what I'm doing. This don't make any sense, Bernie. Have it make sense? You confuse a lot of people with that interview, I must tell you. There were times when I was just like, what is Bernie going on about? I don't even understand what he's talking about. Bernie, you're the minister. We have an expectation of you, not of this 24-year-old child who was in tears at a stadium in the Bahamas over how she was being treated. Why don't you get some testicular fortitude and do something about the association? Now, rightfully so, he said that he can't interfere with the association. I'm not so sure his logic as to why he can't interfere makes any legal sense, as one of the previous callers said. But you know how you impact an association, folks? The one thing they care about more than anything else is the money. They care about the money more than the athletes, I can assure you. Take their funding away. Freeze it immediately. And you will send that. That's your only card? That's your trump card? Good. Play it. And you will see how quickly heads will roll and people will do what they need to do. It might be a temporary setback for our young people and for the association, but Lord, how much more can they be set back when they have this bunch running the show? I'm just really saying. He also went on to say, it was unfortunate that it happened, but sometimes bad things happen because these things need to be brought to the forefront. Again, why are y'all sitting back and not bringing it to the forefront yourself? You have said this association has been in shambles. It's been a mess for a really long time. Is that right, sir? Because if that is right, then I have a lot of questions to ask you as sports minister. I'm just like, did he just say that? Well, poor Bernie said a lot in about 40 minutes. Big shout out to Seaford Russell, who conducted the interview. Poor Seaford. I don't know if Seaford was just confused by some of the responses or what, but we didn't get the answers, folks, that we really needed. But let's hear a little snippet of what Bernie had to say. And then I'm going to tell you the one thing that Bernie really did get right. Have a listen.
Compass sports journalist Seaford Russell here at the Compass building for the Seaf Show, joined by a very special guest, the minister.
Let's fast forward.
Since we're going to athletics, let me start off in saying one of the things that I regret, because there's some things about this that I'm happy it happened, but I'm regretting that people are not seeing that Anthony Chin Jr. won a bronze, Andrew Stone won a gold, and Devontae Howell won a gold.
Yeah.
And really and truly, I've yet to hear why Andrew Stone did not go into the high jump, because at 14 or 15 he jumped 2 meters, so he's jumping above 2 meters, and the winning jump at Carifta in the high jump, which he won silver medal in last year, he would have got a gold medal in as well. So it is disappointing, and I have not heard why he was not entered in that. But getting back to the situation at hand, like I said, I'm sorry that all of this has overshadowed the 3 athletes and what they've done. Miss Barnes' situation was regrettable in some ways, but it was, maybe sometimes you have to do radical things sometimes to get things to the attention of the people. But I'm going to say this stuff has been going on for a while. The way they handled Miss Barnes, where she was embarrassed, shouldn't have been that way. But also, on the other hand, the people in the Bahamas maybe should not have accredited her without the association giving an okay. So it could go 2 ways. But why I say this has gone on for a long time.
All right, let me just pause the minister right there. This, folks, is a classic example of when you can't take a position. It can go 2 ways. Let's be very, very clear about what happened, right? If you've been paying attention to the facts. Number one, the accreditation issue, right, is not something that Lacey had any control over. She applied. She heard that there was an option to apply online. We confirmed on Friday for the Bahamian president of their association that there was no indication, although he's claiming, now mind you, I've had other people in Cayman who've worked with Carifta for years who have said he is absolutely wrong. I can only tell you what the man said. I don't have any documentation to show that the local federation has to approve accreditation. People who have hosted Carifta events in Cayman, who've attended numerous Carifta events all over the world, said that is not true. Unless it's a recent change, that has never been the case. And there are many other coaches who are there from all over the place. So there's still this kind of question mark over this accreditation situation. But the one thing we do know with certainty is Lacey did what she was supposed to do. Now, if other people got it wrong, right? He's saying that Miss Pauline Davis Thompson didn't have the authorization to go and get the accreditation stuff and hand it to Lacey, that she bypassed the step. That is not Lacey's fault. So this wishy-washy response about, oh, well, maybe she should have known that the local accreditation was supposed to authorize her or whatever. I'm just like, Bernie, pick a position here. You can't have it both ways. It's either. Both of them can't be right, you know. It's either this is the rule and this is how it works, or it isn't. It appears in this case that even if that's the rule, and I'd love to see it somewhere in writing to say that's the rule, what is painstakingly evident is that Lacey did not know of that requirement. It doesn't even make any logical sense because the local association, local federation, had already told her no. Why would she apply through a mechanism that she believed ultimately led back to the local association having to give authorization? This is where your MP's not got no common sense, because if Bernie had thought about that for a minute, he would see where that's problematic. And that statement that he just made, he would have just kept, he would have moved on from that. He would not have mentioned it, not at all. Let's continue to listen to some of the rambling to see if Jesus can help it make sense.
Miss Barnes in her clip said that there was no physiotherapist. And one of the reasons I have said nothing before now is because you want to do your homework before you jump up and say, I support this one or I support that. You want to know what's what. Now, I know plenty of the sins of the association.
Hold on a second, sir. This is the reason why you haven't said anything until now. Are you sure? Because you, once again, are the sports minister who goes on to say that you know plenty of the sins of the association. So what would take you so long to examine their latest sin? I'm confused, right? You were on a fact-finding mission? Sir, you were at Carifta. Granted, you were at the swimming one in Curacao. How is it that you don't know? How can CMR get this story before you and know more about what's going on than you? When you are the sports minister, you are the man with the lengthy association with the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, now the Cayman Athletic Association. How much, investigation did you require while you couldn't speak out on this? People aren't asking you to take a side and be misinformed. People are asking you to hold people accountable. You go on to say you've known a lot about the sins of this association for far too long. Have you really? Because where's the accountability?
Like you said, having been the president who rebuilt it from scratch. And when I look at what happened, she said there was no physiotherapist.
Right.
I think it's like 18 months or 2 years since her father was the president of the Athletic Association. Good friend of mine. He and I have a good relationship. I spoke to the coaches. They don't remember any physiotherapists being on the trips or on masseuse. They don't remember any of their athletes being given shoes. So all this has gone on before. What I really wish...
And again, what does that have to do? You can talk about the historical issues with this association, which in my opinion makes it even more egregious. That's why they should all definitely step down. But what does that have to do with Lacey? Right? You're asking her to go what? And dig up stuff from when she was 5 years old? What does that have to do with her? That's not her responsibility.
Ms. Barnes had addressed was the selection process of not only the coaches, which is what caused this. Now, you and I have just had the pleasure of being with the swim team, watching what went on there, and as you saw, you had 3 different coaches there, all accredited. And even our athlete from overseas, they accredited that coach. They didn't necessarily, they may not have paid for them to come or whatever, but you got accreditation where the coach can work with the athlete because the athlete has a bond with their coach. And the same stupidness, and I'm going to call it that, has been going on with the Cycling Association. Just a few weeks ago, we had a young man leaving, and a week before the young man, Nathaniel Forbes, he was told, we're not making your coach go with you. And he refused to go. Any athlete in his position would have done the same thing. Now I hear that, to me, or sometimes it comes down like these associations get personal. Who's retired? Why bring someone who has no one making the team? And so that is where I see part of the problem starting from. But this is not the first time that this has gone on. Another thing that if I was in Ms. Barnes' shoes that I would have made a fuss about was the selection of the athletes. When I was president, or when we had...
But again, what does any of this have to do with Lacey Barnes? You know who should be making a fuss about those things? The parents, the athletes, the ministry. That's your job, actually, sir. That's not Lacey Barnes' job. You should be making a fuss about how these athletic associations are being ran if you think they're rogue associations. Why are you saying that was Lacey's job? That doesn't make any sense. I'm confused. Mr. Goodlook says, is today phone call day? If so, I think the Minister of Sport should be first. He's not going to answer the phone. Y'all didn't hear that in this interview he said he doesn't like talking to the press?
Our association there. At the under 17 level, if you want to use the word developmental, if they say the qualifying time was 14 seconds and a person ran 14.1 and they were 14 or 15, I would take them. Because you want them to get seasoned, to see what it's like, see what level. You've seen swimming do that with the 4 Little Musketeers. And it ended up that they got someone got medals. But this is where I think the things that need to be discussed. What sensibility and and I feel is egos and personalities. And at the end of the day, who's suffering at the time is our children. And when I say there was one athlete taken, that was the one athlete that came from the head coach club. That athlete was injured before they left Grand Cayman, got to Carifta, was injured, never competed, and came back injured. But yet, I can name 2 young ladies who qualified maybe at a high school meet. But that's another discussion in itself. Why weren't these high school meets not being sanctioned? Because the same people, officials, who they use were at the meets. Mr. Francis, who's one of the greatest at his job, was there controlling all the timing and everything. The starters are all people who are recognized by the association. The only 2 people I didn't see there, or 3 people, are the 3 members of the executive. And but all the officials who are usually there were there. You had a young girl who is 13 years old, is going to be 14 in September, October. She won both the 100 and the 200. She beat everybody in on the 17 category. Why wasn't she taken? Delora Johnson jumped high jump, qualified.
Is this the minister himself is admitting that, quite frankly, the association is a mess? Why then are we continuing to give them money? That is my sole question. He is admitting, oh, well, Lacey should have brought up all these issues. No, that's not Lacey's job. But since you know about them, and you can name names, Dolores Johnson, this athlete, this young lady, 14, 17, you know the hot mess that the association is in. Please stop giving this association our money until they get their act together. And if they don't get it together, somebody else needs to form another association that can do a better job. What's going on here? The minister is asking a 24-year-old child to hold adults like Sidoni Mothersill accountable, to hold adults like Delroy, Mr. 60-something-year-old lawyer, accountable, to hold Mr. Francis and the other board members accountable, when you, the ministry, can't even do it? What kind of nonsense is this? Where is the plot lost? Lisa says he needs to step down, also making excuses and not addressing the issues at hand. I think that unfortunately, the people that he is expecting to address the issue, a 24-year-old child, that simply makes no sense to me. Some of you have been asking about who else is on the executive. Well, let me show you. Let's bring that up, these other members, because in my humble opinion, they are all equally responsible for their behavior. And the fact that none of them have been held to account is a problem. So we have H. Delroy Murray is the president, Osbert Francis, first vice president, Maxine Anglin, second vice president, Sidoni Mothersill, general secretary, Ray McLeod, treasurer, Paula Dawkins, assistant general secretary, Carl Morgan, ordinary member, Theo Cuffey, ordinary member. Daryl Porter has resigned. Daryl Porter is the only member of this executive who has indicated that he cannot be a part of this fiasco. And I mean literally the weekend that all of this happened and came to his attention, he said that they didn't know what was going on, but as soon as he saw it and heard what was going on, he properly disassociated himself with this situation. He's the only member. We're still asking Theo Cuffey, what you doing? Carl Morgan, Paula Dawkins, Ray McLeod. We'll try and hush about Sidoni Mothersill because y'all know she's not going to step down. Maxine Anglin, Osbert Francis, Delroy Murray. All of you need to tender your resignation. And the petition is going to start this week for you to do so. Michelle said the parents and coaches have definitely been making a fuss about this election, but that fell on deaf ears. Well, it seems like everything falls on deaf ears with this association, and that is a problem. Let's get it together, folks. Please step down. Do your country a solid by resigning. Tender your resignation. Michelle says he's only naming the athletes from West Bay because I guess they told him personally, but there are many more that should have been selected. If he actually had knowledge of all of this, why didn't he address it? Well, Michelle, I'm asking the same question. Moy says, I hope I work with government to have the same belly. The government chair must be super comfy. Robert says, absolutely right, Sandy. It starts from the root. Alejandro says, well, who else they're going to go to is my question. Jonathan says, what is a 24-year-old child? Jonathan, she's a child compared to people who are in their 60s is my point. Legally, she's not a child. But I'm referring to Lacey Barnes. Why is she expected to be the catalyst of change? She's an adult. But compared to someone who's 60 years old, who has 40-something years experience on her, compared to Sidoni Mothersill, who's probably old enough to be her mother, I don't consider her on par with them in any way, shape, or form. Good morning, Miss Lucille. She says that she's watching and listening. She have her grandchildren. Do not look good. I feel bad for the children. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. All right, now listen. We have a lot of time for this. Now, the one thing that Bernie did say that finally made sense and all of his ramblings was that, I'll let you listen to it. Have a listen to this.
I can tell you this much. There's a few times when the Athletic Association had their child molestation case.
Yeah.
If I had been sitting on that executive at that time, I would have resigned and I would have told my board, let us all resign, because we have failed in one of the main jobs, and that is protecting our athletes, and especially protecting our girl athletes.
Yep.
So it may be another case. If I was sitting there and you find so much people, and especially the athletes that are not pleased, I would say, okay, drop my hands and say, put a new board in place.
Well, that's a good question. It's a good point. I say so too. They should have resigned. And in my opinion, it's still not too late. There are members who were members then who need to resign. And like I said, all of them. This is about collective responsibility. I don't actually know any of these people. I don't know who Ray McLeod is. I don't know who Miss Pauline Dawkins is. I don't know Osbert Francis. I don't know Maxine Anglin. I don't even know Dalroy. I just know he's a lawyer. I know who Sidoni Mothersill is. I don't know Carl Morgan, and I don't know Theo Cuffey. So once again, don't take it personal. You all need to tender your resignation. That is the one thing that the minister said that was crystal clear. If you were there during this scandal, and all of you knew what was going on, tender your resignation forthwith. Don't let another day pass. This observer says he doesn't like to talk publicly because he cannot articulate himself professionally, make it make sense. He's making it known that he as a minister isn't doing his job. And Lacey had tried to make a change and address the issues. They would be asking, who does she think she is? What is Bernie being paid for? What does he do? This person says, trust your well. Morning, Miss Sandy. Was listening to this morning. I think the music video seems fitting to your show and what's been happening with kids on the island. I'll have a look at it because we don't want to get our feed dropped for copywriting issues. This person said that they heard that Alfred Ray McLeod resigned since last Monday. Oh, can we get some confirmation on that? That would be good. That's a start. 2 people resigned. We need more. Thank you for that potential update. Let's see if we can get some confirmation on that front. Let me check the other phone over here. Y'all know we got multiple messages coming in. So this person says, morning, Sandy. Many believe that Lacey speaking out as she did about the situation will be the primary cause of favorable change in the CAA association. CAA. The ERA now has the ERA now has radio talk shows and young people standing up and speaking out, bringing much to light and getting it addressed. One bad apple spoils the bunch. I bet he knows about that. Johan is in the house. Good morning, Johan. You're finally waking up this morning. Says Auntie Sandy, we still on the Cayman Athletics Association. The minister shared his views, whether anybody agrees or not, yet people are still complaining. Johan, you showed up late, obviously, and you clearly did not hear the beginning of the show. I'm going to relegate you to the back of the classroom again for not paying attention. The reason why this is still an ongoing conversation is because the people have not done the right thing, first and foremost. And we will not be dropping it. You see, this is what makes me a bit perplexed as a Caymanian in this country. We jump up and we talk about an issue for 15 minutes and then we drop it. No longer an issue. That's it. Dead, done, whatever. We forget about it. It is why we are doomed to repeat history and bad behavior and bad decisions over and over and over again. It is also why nothing truly gets fixed in this country. Because the average person doesn't even have the brain cells to focus on a topic for more than 15 minutes. Heaven forbid that the health and wellness and welfare of our young people should be a topic of discussion for more than a day or two. Really? Oh, I'm over that already. Can we talk about something else? No. I mean, we're going to get to something else here in a second, but no. Our children are worth every single minute, every single breath that I have spent on this conversation. Until there is a resolution, I want the Sidoni Mothersills, the Dalroys, the Osbert Francises, whoever else is on this committee this morning to understand, we the people are not going to forget about it. Y'all need to resign. We're going to stay on you like white on rice. You see, y'all not used to a little tenaciousness now, you know. That's Caymanian people for you. That's why y'all be going back to the same bad relationships over and over again. Oh, I forgot how poorly he treated me for the 15th time. And I'm like, really? Again? You got to have a little gumption there, Johan. Charlene says, until resolved, I agree. Ms. Morton said, oh my God, you gone straight to the back of the classroom. Yes, honey child. We putting him right back there. Yeah. Alejandro says, boy, Johan, keep losing. He seat. He positions Sandy. Love you, Bobo. Ay. Damien says the reason why Caymanians get no respect, we too soft. Not only are we too soft, but we just don't have no focus. How have we exhausted this conversation, Johan? Tell me. How have we exhausted it? The minister made comments that we've not even had an opportunity to discuss until this morning. This is very much a live topic. If you think we've exhausted it, go sip your tea somewhere else. I understand that Radio Cayman might have something of interest talking about with OC. I'm not sure what it might be, but Johan claims that he's a teacher's pet. Poor him. The teacher around here don't have no pets, honey child, especially when you're not paying attention. All right, so listen to me now. We're going to keep on this situation. We're not going to let it die down until we have some real accountability. Imagine if we started to exercise this concept of real accountability in all of our lives, all facets of our lives. Our elected officials wouldn't be able to get away with 90% of what they do. Speaking of real accountability with politicians, oh, Jesus. I wasn't going to go there today, but since I'm feeling it, let me ask a question. Y'all ready for this one? Ay. I know she gonna say I'm picking on her. Oh, these MPs. Oh my God. All right. Barbara Barbara, please help yourself. Help me, help you. Because you are the representative for part of which constituency is she in? I know she gets part of Windsor Park and the other part South Sound, right? Tell me something, Barbara. What is this that I'm hearing on the streets? Barbara Conley. Let me tell you what representative she's from. Is it Georgetown North? Barbara Connolly. Let's see. She is Georgetown South. All right. Y'all help me out here now with this. What is this story that I'm hearing? That Lady Barbara, she's purchased a boat called Lady Barbara, by the way. I don't know what that's all about. Well, I do know what it's all about, but I'm trying not to go there. I'm trying to behave myself this morning. Apparently, it's connected to the fact that Sir Alden has a title. She now is Lady Barbara. She has to buy a boat. I don't even think she even goes boating, but she went and wasted money buying a boat. That's just stupid if you ask me. But anyway, let me not digress. What is it that I'm hearing that Barbara is actually working a full-time job for her company management? She works for this, she's a manager of fiduciary services. Y'all help me here about how an MP could have the time to have a full-time job anywhere else. You get paid money out of the coffers of on the backside of the hardworking people of this country. You get a decent salary. Why are you working for anybody else? Why are you back at this company working full time? You all understand what I just said? These MPs make a base salary of, I think it's close to $9,000. And you're out there working. You have so much time on your hand because apparently you've accomplished everything in your constituency. You don't have anything to contribute to the Legislative Assembly. You don't have any laws to be researching. You're not out there talking to your voters about how they feel about the sexual harassment bill, which has been on the consulting table. That you can go out there and work another job full time? People. You see, this is the kind of foolishness that we should not be accepting. Who does this even? I don't understand it. This is why even some of these MPs, when they own businesses, if they're active in the business, I say, listen, when you become an MP, you got to be prepared to put all that stuff aside. You can't be actively running a company and working as an MP, not if you're really trying to do a job. Do the proper job on behalf of the people. Oh, my poor foot is cramping. Oh, seriously? I am flabbergasted at this information. Working full time at this other company? How on earth can you be doing that? It's bad enough that we got Alden, who's into farming. I mean, you might call that a hobby. Maybe he doesn't see it as a job. I don't know. It's bad enough that the men and maybe some of the women are preoccupied with all these extramarital relationships that they have going on that takes away from what they need to be focusing on. But apparently, They have so much free time on their hands that they can go get a job. Y'all better wake up for the next election. You hear me? Y'all better wake up for the next election. It is time to vote these jokers out. Where is David White? Where is he? What has he done for you all lately? How does that song go? What have you done for me lately? Where is he? This is a man that you don't even know if he's alive or not. You can't hear a single cahoot from this man. Silence, dead silence. Alden, where's he been? Mr. McTaggart, well, occasionally he jumps up when the PAC government, when he sees a opportunity to try and tear the PAC government apart, you know, he can jump on that. Poor him. Alden is advising him and pulling his little strings and telling him what to do. But where on earth are these MPs? No, sir. When I heard that over the weekend, that was like, my God, this really takes the cake. You have time to go and start working full time? Have y'all taken a look around in your respective constituencies? I'm not saying that Barbara doesn't have someone working in her office, an office worker. I know they be trying, honey Chan. They does a little thing. They give out groceries to crackheads and stuff like that who are taking advantage of them. Andrea Spute. We at some point soon, again, we need to have this discussion about the drugs in our community and what it's doing to people like Andre and his family. And why he's choosing to be living in that lifestyle and can lie down all day long and do nothing and yet call Barbara, tell me he needs a bag of groceries to feed his family. Some of y'all is a problem, not just the MPs. Really taking advantage of the system. And the poor people who really need it, who are trying their best, can't get the help because you've used up all the resources. We're going to be coming for some of y'all with this drug situation because I have quite a tale to tell y'all this weekend. Another story yet again. It's bad enough that we have Caymanians here in drugs, but now we're importing them in. And guess what? When they want a hit of the good stuff, they go missing from work, catch a flight to Cayman Brac, like this dude, this Indian guy did on Friday, and go to the Brac in Little Cayman to get the good drugs. RCIPS claimed that they had a press conference on Friday. Well, they need to be talking about what they're doing about the situation in the Brac as it relates to drugs. Because it's unconscionable to know that even expats know if you want the good stuff, you get on a flight and you go to Cayman Brac and you can get your crack or your cocaine with no problems and no one is doing anything about it. We come into that conversation too. Let's take a commercial break, folks. The next discussion up, let me read a few of your comments before we move on, is going to be about, what's his name there? George. Now, folks, if you've had your children listening to the program thus far, I'm going to encourage you to go find something else for them to do. This part of the conversation, unfortunately, is not children friendly. This is now coming with adults only warning, 18 plus. Really, my God, after I read what I read, I felt like I needed to be 30 plus, which I am, thank God. But it's going to be an adult conversation. Marshall says all of a sudden now she's having mental health issues. Speaking of Sidoni, I guess she would have some kind of mental health issue to put up with her sick husband on all the crap he's been going on with for years. Where's Dr. Lockhart? Poor Dr. Lockhart. His itinerary should be well full. Cindy says, exactly, Sandy. What about all the girls that she ignored that her sick husband was abusing his power over. Sidoni can go mad for all we care. Mad out yam head. Cindy, behave yourself now. I don't want to have to put you in the back of the classroom. Cindy says, even with all the proof, she still condones his sick behavior and support him with her hard-earned money. Gail, you better haul your... Shanley says, Sandy, I love how you're not easing up. Can't take the heat. Get out of the darn kitchen. Marshall says what her husband did should have had her upset, but she wasn't. She should be ashamed of herself. She should be ashamed of himself or herself. I think he meant herself. Cece says, just looking at her disrupts my mental health, especially how she treats her people. Leanna says all should be charged and put in jail if they refuse to step down, because it seems all were involved in this nasty act. Cindy also says, oh, we intentionally mean to be unkind to her. After all, she knows nothing about Cayman kind. Leanna goes on to say, stop using mental health as an excuse, because y'all do not know what mental health care looks and feels like. Well, I hope to God we might soon know what a good healthcare facility looks like. Marshall says, it's a good thing some people nowadays can play the mental health card when it's convenient while they're doing wrong. And the most, they don't remember that they have mental health problems. KK says, how many races or such did she do after winning that gold medal? Because you don't win thing more. What? Because you don't one thing more about her since then. Also, she's still driving the car that government gave her. Well, she can't be driving it in Washington, D.C. So let's remember, folks, Sidoni she's not domiciled in the Cayman Islands. And if that association doesn't have a domicile requirement, they should. Michelle says that curse the rules. Apparently, all athletes must qualify in their home country to qualify. Well, again, I'm told that that's not true. Based on other people who've been on the CRIFTA board, they said that's not a rule at all. Michelle goes on to say they should give the athletes better scholarships when they go overseas and have it embedded in their contract that the schools that they are accepted in must allow the athletes to represent their country. The schools also release their kids to 10 qualifiers. Charlene says exactly, overshadowed vindictively by Mothersill, because from the very beginning, it's all about her, not Cayman or Caymanian-born athletes. Ms. Darlene says that Barbara is hustling. She a hustle. What a hot mess. Ay. All right, folks, let's take a commercial break because we got to clear our mind now to get ready for George. That's another hot mess of a situation. It's a very disturbing conversation. Johan claims that there's no room in the back of the class for him and Cece. And Cece responds, Johan, I right there beside you, quietly in my corner. All right, get your second cup of tea and coffee and water ready, folks, because we really have got to dissect George Ebanks this morning, and it's not going to be a comfortable conversation. I should warn all of you. Happy Monday, folks.
Get your taste buds ready because Taste of Cayman is back. Join us May 13th at Festival Green, Camana Bay. Eat, drink, and dance the night away. Taste of Cayman offers the very best of Cayman's food and drink scene with plenty of music to keep the party going. Get your festival tickets online today at tasteofcayman.org or call 623-6700. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Tourism Association and sponsored by AI Rentals, Camana Bay, DMS Broadcasting, and numerous valued partners.
Ocean Ridge Heights offers an amazing opportunity to own a piece of land in idyllic Cayman Brac, right on the bluff, starting from $80,000. Located in a quiet residential area with high elevation, these lots are ideal for a future home or investment property and are sure to go fast. Cayman Brac offers a laid-back lifestyle, amazing pristine diving, limestone caves, diverse flora, along with amazing wildlife. Inquire about the owner financing options so that you can secure your piece of paradise today. With only a few lots remaining, These are sure to go before you know it. Contact Crichton Properties today on 345-949-5250 or info@crichtonproperties.com.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
In the mornings, no one wants to miss listening to the Cold Hard Truth or reading CMR. Cayman's #1 news platform has made your morning commute fun again. Pass this time with the Cold Hard Truth on weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Talk radio that's engaging, entertaining, and enlightening. But be careful. Some mornings it's so hot, you might run into a bit of trouble.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. It's time now for adult-only conversation. Oh, Lord Jesus. Woo! Miss Morna says, I'm done in the third row from the front, and I'm not moving. Well, let's talk about George. Last week, a young lady reached out, and we were trying to get the conversation going, I know, on Friday, but we had our guest call in and we had to prioritize that live conversation. So we kind of put this on the back burner. And this young lady, you'll see the conversations here in a minute to put everything in context. Essentially, she's from neighboring Jamaica. She was recruited from overseas to come and work in the Cayman Islands. And this is an MO that you all have to be conscious and aware of, because George has a consulting business where he offers immigration services. And y'all need to be, every single company that hires him needs to now understand after today's show that he uses his immigration services in order to attract sexual partners. Okay? So you are company ABC cleaning company. You're looking for janitorial workers. You don't want to handle your immigration stuff. You hire George to do it for you. If that person is a woman, I haven't heard of him harassing any men yet, so I'm assuming it's just women that he's into. If that person is a woman, folks, you have got to be concerned. He will make moves on your female staff just to be able to get sex from them and sexual favors from them. The man has zero scruples. He's supposed to be a married man with 2 children, and he don't care. Okay? Now, let me assure you that there's some things that he has said in conversations that I cannot repeat, because they are so vulgar. Oh, I could repeat them, but not on radio, because Off-Reg probably listening to the show this morning. Good morning to Off-Reg. How y'all doing over there? Those of you in the live stream, you will be able to read it for yourself. I'll be using my, hold on now. Let me get my censor button. I'll be using that quite a bit this morning. I felt like, first of all, the woman said, listen, I want other women to understand what this man is up to, and they need to be careful. There are other victims out there who are afraid. This woman is leaving the jurisdiction, and she is very afraid. There's more that she wants to send me, but she's not going to send it until she's left the country because she is so afraid of George. Now, who the hell George is, I don't know. Who he thinks he is, boy, he should be starring in his own adult film. Let me break it down. Now, I saw Cece. Where are you, young lady? I hope you're paying attention, because Cece said, oh, there's women begging him for money and blah, blah, blah. Cece saw a snippet of a conversation. And I want to put everything in context here today, because we have got to set the record straight. George is no victim. He is taking advantage of vulnerable people who are here on work permits or who are trying to get into this country to better their lives. Now, I want to tell y'all something. You may not get it and you may not understand. Because Caymanians have been privileged their entire lives, right? People have been cuddling y'all and giving you the best of everything, and you're still complaining every 2 seconds. There is real poverty in this country. Poverty that pushes, not in this country. Yes, there's poverty in this country, but in this world is what I meant to say. In our neighboring countries, poverty to the likes of what Caymanians have never seen. And I pray that we never see. Because we have an okay life for the most part. Some of y'all living very comfortably. There are people who will do anything to get an opportunity. And if that means sleeping with the likes of George Ebanks, even to that, my dear, they will do. I get it. I know what y'all thinking, like Sandy. For real? Yes. Y'all don't understand the life of privilege that we have had and how desperate people are to have an opportunity, especially when they have children. They want to better themselves for their children, better their lives, get a better job. And you're going to, when we start reading some of these messages here in a second, you're going to see some of that desperation. And I hope you listen with a heart of understanding. Because when you have someone like George who knows these things and who takes advantage of people in such a vulnerable position for his own sexual kicks, I feel like I should be kicking him in the gonads. That's what he deserves. This is wrong on all levels. Forget about the fact that he's a married man and he's supposed to be a Christian in church. Now, he just went and joined the new Baptist church down in Savannah, and I feel sorry for them, honey child, because they don't know what they have allowed into their midst. One thing for sure, they better be very careful, especially with the young girls. Be careful. People's reputation precedes them. Lock up your young ladies when you see George coming, because this man has no chill. He has no understanding of professionalism whatsoever. I posted a voice note on social media on Friday of him cursing out the same woman over immigration. Oh, you need to get your, hold on, down to immigration, you know, blah, 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 about your work permit. And y'all was sympathetic, talking foolishness about, oh, well, he sounds like he had been telling her that a bunch of times and she just wasn't understanding it. Can I please ask you all to stop making excuses for bad people? I'm just saying. That is not the case. This is not a situation where he said to her, oh, you need to go down there to immigration paperwork 50 million times and she just wasn't understanding. This is a man who, when he doesn't get his way with you sexually, will become vindictive and curse you out and do the most. That's what that voice note was about. It was about his lack of professionalism. He is hired by these companies to do a job. And he is doing such a poor job at it that he curses out people, not people that work for him, people that he's trying to get work permits for other companies. So if you're one of those companies that uses his services, be very much aware that this is how George speaks to your future workers. The man is sick in the head. Somebody says attending and joining a church are two different things. He can attend all he wants, but to join the church has to vote to approve his membership. That day shall never come. Woo! Cayman Islands Baptist down in Savannah, down by Pedro, they on top of him already, honey child. Good for you. Don't let him in. Do not let him in. Let's have a look at it, folks. October, November, December. Yes. November the 24th, 2022. He starts a conversation. Now, I know it might be hard for y'all to see, so I'm going to, give me 1 second. Let me see if I open this up. I'm going to try to see what's the best way for you to view this as large as possible. Because like I said, there will be things on here that I cannot say. I can't repeat some of these disgusting words. So it will be incumbent upon you all to try to read this. Let me see here now. Window. Let me see. Let's see if this is any better. Hold on. Because this one I can enlarge fairly. Yes, this might be better because I can enlarge this one. Let's do it this way. All right, so they start a conversation, folks. George reaches out and he says, this is at 5:56 p.m. I want y'all to keep track of the timeline now because the timeline is important. He reaches out and says, "Hi, I'm George Ebanks in Cayman. I'm doing a work permit for you for one of my clients. Tomorrow, I might need to call you as I need to complete the permit forms and some areas are blank. Save my number, okay?" We have extracted this woman's name because, again, she is fearful of George. And I'm sure she's also embarrassed that she has allowed herself to be in this position. So she says, okay. He says, "You've been in Cayman before? Looking forward to meeting you and showing you around." But Jesus Christ. Say what? Within 1 minute, well, no, hold on. From 5:56 to 6:13, y'all do the math. Already the man told me he wants to show you around. George, that's not your job. Your job, as you rightfully said, is to take out a permit for this woman, and that's it. But you see, the grooming has begun. Okay? Oh, I want to show you around. I want to show you the Cayman Islands, dirty old man. So she replies and says, yes, I used to come to the Cayman Island when I was much younger every summer, but I've never worked there before. But yes, I have been there before. She says, awesome. I can't wait. Hope we can be friends. Hope you will have some free time to go out. You see how this conversation's already going sideways? Then he mentioned some lady says you'll be staying with your mommy. I think, yes, we can. And I'd love to go out and see around the area. She confirms that she's going to be staying with her mom. Cindy, are you paying attention? Right away, the woman has not asked George for a single thing. There is such a thing of grooming of adults as well, you know. Listen to what he does. Tomorrow, I can top up your number if it's okay. Flo or Digicel. Say what? People. When you see somebody trying to give you something, somebody that you do not know, especially when they're of the opposite sex, and all of a sudden they're trying to give you something, you need to be very careful. She didn't ask him to top up her number. She didn't ask him for money. He is right at the bat. Eager beaver. Can I top up your number? Really? So she says, sure, I use Flo and thanks in advance. He says, okay, I will. She says, I heard Cayman is very beautiful. We can't read all this because it's 54 pages. So I'm going to skip through some of it. She goes on to say that her mom told her it's very expensive. And apparently he's sending audio notes, which you can't get in this conversation. He says, you'll find anything you crave for here at 100% safety. Well, gosh, darn it. He's better than the RCIPS guaranteeing people's safety. Then he says, plus me to be your best friend. Say what? Sicko. Folks, this is the first time he's having a conversation with this woman. You know? The nerve of this man. Of course, now he wants to know, does your mommy go to church? Because he's always playing the church card. And this woman says, yes, she goes. Then he goes on, are you on social media? Because, of course, he now wants to get her social media information. He says, IG is in your name. Let me have it, okay? Yes, honey child. So she gives him the IG name. He talks about how he was born in Cuba. So he speaks both Spanish and English. So she's interested. She says, how do you say that you're beautiful in Spanish? Talks about his grandparents migrated to Isle of Pines. He giving this woman the whole family. Listen. Professionalism was lost after the first minute of this conversation. I saw your picture, he says, and I will say what you are in a moment. She starts to talk about her kids. He then says, I want to pamper you. Folks, this is 6:38 of the same day. You know? The conversation just getting started, and already George wants to pamper her. Where's George's wife? Also Jamaican, by the way. Now, if that's not a marriage of convenience, I don't know what is. Immigration, y'all paying attention? Even to this girl has a moment of caution. She says, but you hardly know me. But I guess we will get to know each other more. Honey, he doesn't hardly know you. He doesn't know you at all. 5 minutes into a conversation, he told me he wants to pamper you. This is a man who's supposed to be trying to take out a work permit for you. Talking about she's gorgeous, wink, wink. Right away, your IG pics are great, babes. Sexy pics of you on there too, laughing out loud. We can go to the gym. Does George even go to the gym? Like, really? He doesn't look like he goes to the gym to me. Once you're here and working and stuff, walks on the beach is good too. Exercise. I would love that, hun. Wow. No, sir. Keep in mind, this poor woman just wants to come to the Cayman Islands and work. Right away, he says, gorgeous. Love them lips, eyes and lips. Think your smile must be delightful. Because he not seen her yet. Love your DP enough. I think that means, some of this I wasn't too sure about, but I think DP means display picture. I believe. Then he starts asking about her children, because mothers care about their children. So now he's trying to get a little something in there about the kids. He claims he has a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. Doesn't George have a daughter who's also an adult? I guess he's forgotten all about her. But anyway, okay. He only claims 2 children, which we know is a lie. 2 with my ex-wife, he says. Well, I'm about to get divorced. This is what she says. But it's not done yet. The man ran off of Canada and leave us. Oh, so now a vulnerability appears. He says, sorry to hear that. Sounds selfish of him. Well, what you have to do is strive to look after you. Aim to be an independent woman, look after your children, and be a great mommy. And enjoy life as time allows. Your children will stay with grandma when you come down to work, ? Because he don't want no children to be messing up his mojo, because he only has one intention with this woman. Then he says, we can bring them down in the summer and Christmas once you get settled. I'll help you. Wow. He ready to be a stepfather and all that. I keep looking at your sexy DP. You look so nice in that pose, baby. Then he talks about how I'm soon leaving my office, okay? Might stop on my way home to look for some food. Why are you telling this woman that you just met all this? Only God knows. And he goes on and on and on and on. Oh, you have a great night. Be safe. Talk to you later. First weekend you're here and not working, I'll sponsor you to salon visit. Hair, mani, and petty. Wow. All of that for a woman you've been talking to for less than 2 hours? Sending her pictures of his children? You know this man got a problem. Oh, I'm going to try hard to get your permit done quickly. Then I will show you I care. Plus, we can be best friends and more. He's still talking that night. Lord Jesus. She says, I would appreciate that a lot. I think she was referring to the work permit. Let's plan on it. Me too. Then he messages her at 8:41 p.m. I'm home. Next morning, it's him that starts the conversation. Good morning, dear. You okay? She says, yes, I'm okay. I'm going to go on the road for a few minutes and then come back home. Okay, hon. Thanks for telling me. Be safe. Let me know when you reach back. Okay, baby? This is so inappropriate and disgusting. Then he says, thanks, baby. I'm sending you some credit now, too. Need anything else? The woman has not asked him for a single thing, and you're going to see the ploy here. Knowing that this woman is desperate, she talks about her financial desperation. She has 3 children. She's trying to come to the Cayman Islands to try to better herself. So, of course, he automatically knows that she does not have a lot of money. She's not working in Jamaica, right? So here he comes with the cash offers. Is there anything else you want me to give? It's up to you. Send you cash via Western Union? This is what he says. Full name to use? And she says, would you do that for me? Question mark. Yeah, because he's trying to get in your panties, honey child. Then he says, I'm in line right now. So how he went from asking her at 11:26 to 11:27 and she wanted money and he made it in line at Western Union. He must have flying powers, man. Then he says, okay, I will send you the Western Union slip soon for you to go and collect. Then she says, but you don't know my address. Even her is like, huh? I feel like you're joking, though. He says, they don't need it. It's St. Catherine, right? She says, yes, St. Catherine. We know that, he says. Going to get my ID and come back. So you go there in 2 minutes and didn't have your ID. Okay. So apparently she must have got the credit. So she says, thanks for the credit, hun. He says, thanks, babes. I want to be that. And I don't know what he means, but I want to be that. But anyway, please go pick it up and use it as needed, baby. And he just goes on and on. This is just day 2, not even a full day. Just so you know, you're special. Talking about he going to watch football, USA versus England. This was during the World Cup. Right? Not really getting the information. He finally gets to the point and says, oh, I looked over the forms and I just might need to sign your name to 3 forms. See, I'm signing for you already. Now, let me just pause there for a second because y'all do know that George has a conviction already in relation to immigration matters. Okay? That is completely fraud. He's been convicted of signing people's names on forms previously when he should not have. It is called forgery, George Ebanks, and it is against the law. You've already been convicted of it once, and it seems to me, based on what you just said, that you're still doing it. Lord have mercy. This man can't learn. He cannot learn. Right? Then he says, but I can call you now, baby. And she says, okay, call me when you're ready. He says, okay, babes, how much to do your hair and nails and jam? So she tells him. He says, okay, sending for you. Make the booking for tomorrow, okay? You can collect it tomorrow before you go. Just for you. Send me a pic afterwards. 2 minutes later, what are you doing? Already a little bit obsessive there, if you ask me. Talking to my mommy. Okay, tell her a good man in Cayman is putting in your permit, and he seems nice. He used the right word there. Seems nice. Yes, sir. So he goes on and on. Talking about he's going to happy hour for drinks. Please call me, baby. He says, guess what? And she's like, what? What, son? I'm feeling you. Your love, I mean. She was like, okay. He's sending her some kind of sticker. She's like, okay, this is nice. Not really, but okay. Rock solid chemistry. Feel nice. I don't know how the hell you can have rock solid chemistry with someone less than 24 hours, but here you go. Lots in store for you. She says, can't wait. She's probably scared as hell, but anyway. Nice. Wish I was coming to take you out later. Buy you a sexy dress and heels to wear out to dinner date. G-string. So she says, well, my birthday's in February. I guess we can have dinner and my birthday together. He says, me done know that. We escaping somewhere. That would be my desire, baby doll. Vibes is good. I should have topped you up when I went back this afternoon, but I'll send you credit tomorrow. So you send him more credit again? Lord Jesus. Then he starts talking about her girls. How are they doing? We need to buy them some things, you know? This is the way you always get to a woman, is through her children. You need your guy to go get you credit tonight, baby? Let me know. So he's already her guy in 24 hours. Talking about they all have school things and stuff, asking about the kids. And then he says, and tell your ex he gonna have to fight hard to get you back. Okay, baby? You're taken. Make everybody know that. Well, she's making everybody know now, George. In 24 hours, you've taken this woman that you've never met before and you know nothing about, and you're a married woman with children. She says, okay, honey, no problem. I can go when I leave here or do it tomorrow, baby. Let me know. This is again about, I guess, sending more money. Then he says, you're a good kisser, baby? Question mark. Of course, she says, yes, I'm a good kisser. Great. I can't wait. Smile. She asks the same of him. He says, can't wait to hold you close. 3 vodka and cranberries. And the conversation continues. He says, just to let you know, from tonight, we're in a relationship. 24 hours. You're in a relationship with this woman who you're only supposed to be doing is taking out her work permit. Wow. Can't wait for all your niceness. Let your nail tech know that you're moving to Cayman to be with your man. He puts your in caps. Now the conversation starts to get a little bit X-rated. You're making me so horny. I'm a very, he says, please be mine, baby doll. I'm applying to be your man. Love your lips and sensuality. So sexy. But you'll look better once I start to look after you. I would take that as an insult, actually. I don't know about y'all, but I'd be like, huh? What the hell are you trying to say? So RD says, I'm sorry, but she was ready to milk George as well. Hello. Somebody starts offering you all of this money and stuff, and she's never asked it. You're going to turn money down, RD, when you have 3 children and you don't have a job and you don't have any money? Let's be honest now. How many of you all in that poverty-stricken situation would be turning money down? Here's an important question that she asked. Do you have a woman over there? Right? This is after he's saying, hold on to it, babes. You soon be here. I'm your man, my queen. Okay? Can't wait to eat you and give you a back shot. Oh, Jesus Christ. While I gently smack that sexy blah, blah. Baby mama. So to that question, he says, baby mama, but we will deal with that. She said, okay. He says, I'm not losing you. She says, nope, I'm yours. Because I don't want no one embarrassing me and cursing me out. This is what she says. You know, if you have a woman or a wife, I don't want anybody embarrassing me and cursing me out. He says, no. Let's start a great relationship once you're here. She says, okay. Once I'm there, I'm all yours. No drama, I promise. Total respect to you. Then he talks about what he wants. Getting very, very R-rated. Talking about he gonna lock her up till I have her all to myself. You deserve the best, wifey. In 24 hours, you calling somebody wifey? I've never seen anything like this in my life. So she repeatedly says over and over again that all she wants is someone to take care of her, treat her with respect and love. He says, I promise you, honey, I'm going to do that. But of course, he's got sex on the brain because look at what he says next about what a clean blah, 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 and what he wants. Yeah. So tomorrow, I want you to stop by a store, look for jeans, shoes, and a top. Listen, let me be very, very clear. These women, sometimes men, are in desperate situations. And if you become their knight in shining armor and promising them to give them everything, right? Who's going to say no to it? She doesn't know that this man is crazy. Talking about what he gonna do to her piece by piece. What he's gonna be spanking and making her bawl. She's just like, okay. Unbelievable. Loving you is easy because you're super special and beautiful. You just started messaging this woman about a work permit the day before. And trust me, the messages go on. And he is the one who's constantly asking her, right? Try to pamper yourself for me. I'll do it personally soon. I will send you up some money next week to finish paying JPS. Who's JPS? I don't even know who JPS is. And get your hair and nails done. Okay, babes? It's him offering her money. She never asked him for money, not at this point. And he just keeps it coming. So sexy. This and that is gorgeous on you. Can't wait to kiss them. I mean, this man has a serious problem. And y'all need to understand, this isn't a OnlyFans website. Okay? Talking about our love is growing stronger every day. I just love the vibes. My God. George is how old? Is he in his 60s? This is a man who's been married at least 3 or 4 times by now. Yeah? And this is what he is up to. He has enough time to do this to not one, because if you think she's the only victim, you better think again, but multiple women. The problem I have with this is that George does this in his capacity of work as a consultant for these companies. If you hire George, this is what you can expect him to do to the cleaners and other people that you're trying to bring to the Cayman Islands on a work permit. Talking about, I don't like my baby doll being low on cash. I'm in line at one place to collect some money. A client sent me only one cashier. Things are slow, baby. I still want to send it to you, but you might have to get it tomorrow. Sounds like he doesn't even have the money. But still going on and on about want to do the hair and nails tomorrow, baby. It's just unbelievable. Her lips driving him crazy. Like every opportunity he gets. If you read the messages, and I'm hoping you guys can read it here. Although she responds to him, she's never the one to start the conversation of a sexual discussion. It's always him. And when you understand how people fall prey to sexual predators, Even though sometimes they don't know how to say no, I don't feel comfortable with this. Keep in mind the power of position, the position of power, my apologies, that he has over her in this moment. This is the man who will get you to the Cayman Islands where you can get a job, a decent paying job, where you can better take care of your 3 children after their father has left you. You understand how this is taking advantage of this woman? He's going to dress her for their dinner date, heels, nice cozy spot reserved at the restaurant. I hope to God that the same restaurant he was inviting me to lunch for. Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah? Gotta kiss you from forehead to toes with a 20-minute stop on my way down to explore. No, sir. Look at the conversations. It's him every morning. Right? 6:47 a.m. He's the one. Good morning, beautiful lady, my queen. And she responds, how are you? I'm great, babes. Soon get up, sending you kisses. He is the one who is driving the sexual conversation. What's your favorite type of food for breakfast? He don't even know what the one like, but are ready to lick her up and down. Typical Jamaican comment, which I think is so funny. She says salt mackerel and fried dumpling. Now, you know she a Jamaican. He talking about, oh yeah, I like that too. Try and stop your lies, George. Salt mackerel and dumpling? No, sir. Hear what he now promises her. So my plan is to find a better job and more pay for you once you come up, okay? My God. Tells her she can get a pharmacy assistant or cashier job. Dress in uniform. Wow. I miss you. Hi, my beautiful baby doll. So then he says, so you can swim. Lord Jesus. I will never let you get hurt. Just hold on to me, okay, baby? Protect you 100%. And she says, please don't hurt me. Lord, does she know? I promise you that. Promise you will honor and respect you. Will look out for your best interest. Never make you regret being mine. She says, okay, please. Then he talking about, come and kiss me now then. You're making me so horny just talking to you. All of this sexual conversation, 95% of it is him. He's going to pay extra to expedite her work permit. That way I can get it back by Friday. And then we'll deal with your ticket to come. You will definitely owe your honey mucho besos. That means a lot of kisses. So she says, because of course she doesn't have any clue what that means. She says, you'll have to teach me some Spanish when we meet. I will, babe. Especially love words, sweet words. Then he's always asking about her mom. When last did you speak with her? Give me her number in case I needed to call her. Here it is now. Might have to call her to let her know I'm picking you up at the airport when you arrive. What a sick man. You can tell your mommy we coming on nice, smile, and that I'm being a good man so far, and you think you like me a tiny bit. And then he says, yeah, I pick you up and take you to get food and some loving up. Imagine this is his intentions, picking up from the airport. Wow. He just goes on and on and on, talking about Hillshire Beach, where he wants to visit Jamaica. Talking about he knows Jamrock pretty well. Been from Kingston to Negril. Want to come visit Portland, though. Never been on that side. It's pretty. We can go in the new year. He making all kind of learn-term plans with this woman. Where's George's wife? How she's giving him goosebumps. Asking if she can drive. Oh, he's just what he wants to eat on her. What he wants her to do to him. This is the extremely explicit part, folks. Can't read that on radio. He's going to get a ring, a nice ring, and put it on your finger after we connect. So everyone knows that you're taken. And I'm going to tell you all about the ring here in a second. It's kind of funny what she said about the ring. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Is this George calling us? I don't know. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Sandra. It's Lorenzo.
Hi, Lorenzo. You're live on air. Are you speaking about George this morning?
I'm speaking about the guy who get my money.
Okay. Let me call you. Let me call you back. We're gonna try to wrap up the George situation. Totally different topic, and then we'll give you a call back. Okay?
No problem.
All right, my dear. What's that? I wonder if he had a story about George. Her bumper, telling her she looks like Halle Berry. She's gonna dress him up, wear an outfit. Let me see if this person is trying to get on radio. Good morning, caller. Well, I'm on air. Do you want to be on air? Okay, you'll have to call me back after the show. After 10:30. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Whew, what a hot mess. Talking about how his friend died. Oh, he just goes on and on and on. She looks delicious. I want to cherish you, honor you, never disrespect you. I wonder if he said that to his wife as well. Love you so much, babes. I feel you so deeply. Wow. He even goes as far as calling the mom and starts to work on the mother, which is, again, part of the whole grooming process. Good morning, caller.
Sandy, good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what you say. That St. Mary girl entertained him. If it's supposed to be a professional capacity, right, or a professional relationship, she should have stopped him from the start. Sir, I appreciate you for all that you're willing to do, but I'd rather keep it professional. Did she at any point say, you're taking this too far, so I'm not comfortable? Please don't send me no money. No, you accepted his things. As a child, I was told, do not take things from men because they're going to want stuff in return. Nothing in life is free.
And she is willing to admit, I've spoken to her, she's willing to admit that this is an issue. But let me ask you a question. Hold on. The women that have said no to George and to say stop it, he's persisted with. So is this a man that you're really willing to defend?
Sandy, no. This situation that you're talking about has nothing to do with the other ones that you're talking about.
No. That's where you're wrong. You cannot isolate this man's behavior when he does this over and over again.
Sandy, I'm not isolating or condoning his behavior. The situation where the women told him no and stop and he still persists, he was dead wrong. Right now, you're talking about this topic here with this wicked St. Mary girl, this little beggar St. Mary girl. She know exactly what George was up to. She entertained it for a year and more, Sandy. She accepted all that he had to say, including his conversations. Not one time did she say she felt uncomfortable, Sandy. You have to give and take and give credit where it's due. George was dead wrong, but the man all and he not cool. What part of the man just want some sugar? He probably beg you some sugar too. If you went on a lunch.
Listen to me. I would kick him in the. Listen.
That woman wrong too.
Well, I agree that she needed to put a stop to this, but I also understand that this is not an equal position. So when we talk about, for example, this concept, folks, of sexual harassment, you have got to understand that he has power over her. She, to this day, the woman is living in Cayman and she's afraid of George, talking about George claim he know the governor and the government and this one and that one. He's taking pictures with the deputy governor and all these people. These people are afraid of George. I'm having conversations with her and I'm like, why are you afraid of this nutcase? This man is crazy. But she legitimately is afraid of him. So I think unless you've been in her position, the one thing we know about George is he is a serial offender. Garrett says he moves faster than a bullet train, but he does this all the time. Even if the woman had said no to him, he would have persisted. This woman is just trying to come to Cayman, trying to get a better job for her and her children. Now she's trying to warn people that y'all need to be on the lookout for him. If you are using his services as a company, you have to understand that this is what George is going to do to your workers. Talking about, I promise not to hurt you ever, but I'm going to be gentle. And then gets very, very graphic. I can't read the rest of that. This'll. And she says, okay, please don't hurt me because I've been hurt too much. This is a vulnerable woman. Y'all are not understanding the power play that is happening here. Not everyone is in a position. That's why the perpetrators have got to be stopped. Gabby says, what's funny is she probably is not the only one. She definitely isn't. Remember the other woman that he was sending graphic videos and pictures to, who she's a Caymanian. She wasn't interested. She kept it professional. She's like, I only want to talk about, you're supposed to be sorting on my insurance and this, that, and the next thing. He persisted. And then you guys heard the man say on this very program that what? Oh, he's a man, and if he wants sex and this and that, and she's a good-looking woman, and what he wouldn't do. Y'all have got to stop defending this kind of ridiculous behavior. She entertained it? Yes. Is she wrong for that? Yes. She's not in an equal position to George. This is a man who's making himself out to be some big shot, talking about the PTA, and he's showing her pictures of his building and this and that and perfumes and blah, blah, blah. He's some big person that came in Ireland. She has no idea. She just wants to be able to come to Cayman and work. And unfortunately, the janitorial company that she was coming to work for was using this man and his services. A lot of this happens in Cayman. Bosses are taking advantage of people. Here, what are you talking about, babes? They have top-class restaurants here. And yes, I will take you to dinner to a nice one all the time we go out. Really? Gonna buy you a sexy bikini, taking you to the beach. Shallow water, you can play with the rays. He is grooming her. This is actually very, very disturbing when you think about the relationship between the persons. And this man has done it numerous times. There are lots of victims out there. I mean, it needs to really stop, George. This behavior is not appropriate. I don't care how old he is. You say he's not dead. He has a wife, first and foremost. Claims that he's a Christian. Well, we know that's a joke. When is it going to stop? You and I wouldn't entertain this because we don't need to. We're not in a desperate position. I adore you, love you across 90 miles of water, and will soon love you skin to skin. Really? How many of you have ever known real hunger? How many of you have had 3 mouths to feed and you're not living with nobody? You better find some way to feed those children. You are just trying to get to Cayman. You know the women in this country that are having to endure this on the work, in their work environments? They become domestic helpers and workers in homes where men are sexually harassing them and raping them and sexually assaulting them. And people sit down and talk about, well, she could say no. It's like, really? This is Charles says this is so disturbing to listen, This is Charles, the people in this country need a reality check. We are too comfortable with a situation. We're too comfortable blaming victims. And this woman is a victim. George has left a long list of women like this. You know how disturbing it is? Like I said, look at who starts the conversations every single morning. It's not her saying, be safe and I'll soon ravish you and make you happy. She responds when he says it. That's what victims do. Oh, look at my office downtown, Cardinal Avenue. Some facelift taking place. She's like, oh, what? The building? A plaza? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a 4-floor commercial building. Right next to my office. Imagine he's sending all this stuff, but oh, look at the cosmetic store. Look at this. Look at that. You go get some sweetness and come rub it off on me upstairs. So go to the perfume shop first. I mean, this man is really quite sick. Could she have said no? Was she in a position to say no? Yeah. He even talks about lodge. Y'all want to hear something? See what he gonna do? Where he gonna put his hand up her dress and do all kind of stuff, sexy shorts and top, and those lips kissing her all over. I mean, the man just goes on and on and on. Better days ahead, he says. Little does she know. Chin up. Love you mucho, mi amor. She says, thanks, honey. He's the driving force here. I think anybody who can't see how this is very, very disturbing has got a problem. Love you more than you know. See what he says here? I'm so, okay, well, I'll let y'all read that for you. Would just sit and whine. Make you read the rest of that. I can hardly wait to make you read the rest of that and start a real loving relationship with you, babes. Really? Because when I hear about no real loving relationship, all I'm hearing is a lot of sex talk. That's what I'm hearing. I long for you. Hear what he says. I will get you to join the island's national choir. Oh my God. Oh my God. Seriously? Join the national choir, Naina. Yes, sir. This is where it's at. This part is funny because I'm going to tell y'all something about George that needs to put this situation in context of how this man has always had a real problem and how he's quite a sick individual. You see where he says, at the beach with kids and nanny, annual air show, send you some pics. Now, I am willing to bet the farm that was not the nanny he was with, but his actual wife. Yeah? Did George go to the air show with the nanny or his wife? Let me tell you what George has done previously that will make your head spin. When he was working at General Motors or whatever that company was where he had his big shot job, He had this white woman come down from the States that he was in a relationship with. I'm sure it started much like this. Back in those days, they didn't have WhatsApp. So I guess it was email correspondence or phone calls, right? Brings her here, claiming she's coming down for work. Has her staying at his house in Newlands, hanging out by the pool, sunbathing outside, having a good, fabulous time in the same house with his wife and child. I want y'all to pay attention to the story now, because you're going to see a couple correlations with this whole nanny situation. So he told the wife, oh, she's a co-worker. She's come down here for work. But, the company doesn't have any money to put her up in a proper hotel. Instead, let's go ahead and invite her into our home. So the woman's sunbathing outside, enjoying her best life in the Caribbean. And then says to the little girl, can you please go and ask the nanny to bring me my morning coffee? And the little girl was like, the nanny? That's my mom. He was calling the wife. Let's not get into him being a wife beater. We not got time for that discussion today. He was calling the wife, the nanny, to the other woman. And invited her into his house and did that. So when I sit here and I look at this, I said the nanny went to the air show and he's sending this woman pictures of the so-called nanny. How much y'all want to believe that woman is his wife? He married to a Jamaican lady. Here where he says, I make beautiful children. You want to give me one more? Sicko. She has some sense and says, I'm not in a position to manage a next child now. Then he says, oh, just kidding, okay? We have enough pretty children, nothing left to prove. That's why you have children? To make them pretty? The responsibility of taking care of children and raising decent adults is clearly lost on you. And she says, laughing out loud, okay, my baby, except to enjoy life and make some money. This is what he then says. She says, so true, that's my focus right now. That's all this woman wanted. And he just goes on and on, sending her videos, sending her pictures, supposedly with the nanny, but we know that's the wife. Talking about you're going to get it. Poor her. Little does she know. Ours is a deep connection to be nourished. Let's strive to keep it special. Okay. Now read this, because when you say to yourself, what does this woman have to be afraid of? You're going to understand where fear comes in, and sometimes y'all do not even understand it. He says, actually trying to get to men's lodge, a fraternity. And then repass and playing dominoes on porch till midnight. Do you know what lodge is what he asked her. And he tells her to Google it. He says, Google, Independent Order of Mechanics, Western Hemisphere. She says, no, hun. It's a society of secrets. And she says, what kind of secrets? Google Masonic Lodge. Rituals and passwords cannot be revealed. He's such an idiot. She's like, oh, okay, honey, understand. Oh my God. So eventually George gives her this ring. Y'all want to hear what's so funny? The woman throws the ring down because she's afraid that George is into some kind of voodoo stuff because of this Masonic Lodge, which she actually doesn't understand or doesn't know anything about. It's interesting when you understand contextually why people feel the way they feel about certain things. When she's not responding to him as much as he wants to, He talks about, I feel like I'm losing you. See, all this is him, you know. Him talking. I agree that she needs to put a stop to it. And one of the reasons she has come forward is because she wants other women to know that you do not have to entertain this kind of discussion with people like George. From the get-go, she needed to stop him in his tracks. Unfortunately for her, he would have found an excuse to tell her employer why she couldn't get a work permit approved. But you know, at the end of the day, she would have been in a much better position. Look at what this man even says. Y'all understand the danger of somebody like George? Look at what he says now on page 36. He says, I can easily amend the start date of your permit to the actual date you arrive, okay? So you don't lose time on your permit. Tell me something. How exactly is George going to do that? How can he amend the start date on your permit to the actual date that you arrive? He's immigration? He's WORC? This again sounds like intent to commit fraud to me. I will do that for you once you reach, he says. Then she says, thank you. And he says, I'll ensure I give you the best blank, blank, blank of your life. I'm here. He's already gotten in with the mom, calling the mother about some funeral and this and that. He says, I deserve all of you anytime I earn it. No, sir. Unbelievable. Sending you money for Christmas shopping. Notice that the woman has yet to ask him for a single dime. Now he gonna send her money for Christmas shopping. The woman still not asking him for nothing either. Then he says, this is not your shopping cash, okay? Just some cash so you can have some cash in your bag. Plus, I'm going to put some credit on too. She says, okay, thanks. She confirms she got the money. Appreciate you a lot. Then he says, okay, just miss you. Longing to taste you. Sit and talk to you over food and wine. He seems to like to really wine and dine people. Now y'all know why I ain't going out to no lunch with the man. Oh, hell to the no. This man has got some problems. Look at this. Look at this message. What he wants to slowly do. This man is really George is sick. Seriously? This is egregious on so many levels. I promise never to hurt you or use you or make you look silly. Lord Jesus, I know that's a promise he can't keep. At this point, she's starting to believe him because now they're in December. Treat you as a queen. How am I making you feel so far? She says, you make me feel loved. Poor her. That's because you're super special to me, he says. Women, let me be very, very clear. You do not have to prostitute yourself. Talking about he wants to shave the woman and all kind of stuff. You don't have to do any of that. Yeah? See what he says? Says, funeral done, time to watch some sex. So he's going to go watch some porn after funeral. Wow. Real upstanding Christian there. You do not have to engage with people like George. Be on the lookout for predators like him. He is a predator. And he likes women that are considerably younger than him because I guess he feels like he can take even more advantage of them. He needs to do better. Women, you need to protect yourself from men like this. I know it's hard. He's sending you credit. He wants to send you shopping money. He wants to do all this stuff to look like your knight in shining armor. But he is a disturbed individual. Morning, caller.
Sandy, you getting me vexed in these comments. You sliding too fast on top of that screenshot, but I see it. So you mean to tell me you not see where that girl wait, Sandy. You mean to tell me you not see where that girl messaged George and says she wants to slowly put her tongue on his, you know what?
Hello, Cindy. No. I'm saying that she is responding to him. Who initiates the sex conversation every single time?
Entertained it. She promised George some cat. She need to give him some cat. He did his part. She need to do her part now.
Oh my God. Cindy, you need to do better. You need to do better. The point is this. The nature of this conversation and how this all started was on George. George is supposed to be the professional. This woman is going to be a domestic worker, a janitorial worker. She's coming from a disadvantaged situation. Every single sexual conversation starts with George. Yes, she responds. She wants to get here. She wants that permit. We all get it. But that does not excuse George's behavior, and it does not make it right. Alejandro, is that you?
Only the best. But look here, Miss Sandy, listen. The thing is about this situation, right, that I'm hearing. If the woman knows that she's not interested in a man's favor, do not entertain the situation. Because if you mislead a man, the man never have no control in his desires, you know. And a woman is gonna
whoa. What do you mean that a man has no control?
He has no control. When I say he has no control, you think that a man is gonna leave a dove that is in the cage for a dove that is out of the cage?
What do you mean he has no control? Everybody has control over their desires and their behavior.
Maybe, Sandy, you are the only saint on this island.
No. Nope, I am no saint. Hold on, back it up. Don't back it up in the way that George wants it backed up, but back it up.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not into that.
We all have to accept that we have control over our behavior and our desires. That's why men rape women and then say, I have no control.
I believe you, Miss Sandy. I do not condone you on your words on those type of things. But you see, when a woman, let me just say it like this, when a woman, because it's not all women like this, they tend to entertain a man's favor. Like if I was to say, oh, Miss Sandy, do you want to go out for a drink tonight? How would you interpret that, knowing that I don't have no interest in you and Miss Sandy? How do you interpret go out for a drink invitation and you accept it? Is that meaning that you give me consent if things go wrong?
Nope, that does not lead to consent, none at all.
Okay, but if you is the one that pushing the favor on, then and I gonna be like, okay, yeah, well, you know, Miss Sandy, I gotta tell you what I really feel about this. We shouldn't be going out drinking. Let's have coffee instead. You see where I'm going?
Listen, can we accept? Let me ask you a question.
The only innocent person that is in this world are children.
Can we accept that people who do this routinely as part of their position over people might have a problem?
It's children. The only people that are innocent in this world is children. Men, women alike make mistakes. And maybe, yes, she was scared, but that does not give me no thought that the woman cannot just say, yo, listen, I don't like how this is going. I gonna make a complaint with you if you don't control yourself. That shows him that, okay, yo, listen, I gotta back away now because this kitten is getting a little face there.
Now, you and I both know that she not got no power sitting in wherever she's at in Jamaica.
I went to California today and a woman told me that she would give me sexual favors for what I want. And if I say no, then she has another option. Either say, okay, but we can do it another way, or no way at all. I'll go back to Cayman. And I got desperate.
I think that probably is the difference. Is that
equally thinking they can think equally? But if a woman decides that she wants to be in favor for the benefit, well, then that's her problem. Why should she go and scandalize a man now for his situation when she could have dealt with it a professional way, diplomatic way, I guess?
So all of the other victims, what do you have to say to them?
I don't think all the other victims are not right. All the other victims probably had.
But the only central problem, the only central connection here is George. He's the one who's central to all of this. All these different women, you're gonna blame, and George continues to get away with his behavior.
Well, let's just address it this way. If they legalize prostitution in the Cayman Islands, the same sexual harassment bill that every woman wants on this island will protect the prostitutes as well. Okay, because without the protection of the prostitutes, they cannot make a complaint for their actions. The sex workers need a protection as well. All right, because they're all here on this island. They're all here, including like how I want my ganja legalized. I smoke ganja. I would prefer them to know that they don't have to tell me what I can and cannot do. It's not democracy. That's not democracy. That is a privilege. That is a privilege. People here are living off of privileges and no rights. If I can have my rights and that right can be taken away from me, I'm telling you what, that's no right. That's privileges. And that's temporary privileges as well.
What a mess. All right, Alejandro.
Yeah, it's a big mess.
So Alejandro says he has the fortitude to fight off the Georges of the world. All right. Woo, what a hot mess. This is shocking. El Rey asked a very good question. He says, with all of that texting, how did he have time to do his job? Well, I don't know, boy. I have no idea. Not just his job, El Rey, but how does he have time to be a husband and a father? He seems quite preoccupied. And I'm telling y'all that this is not the only person. All right. We have more updated messages and stuff as well. And I want to show you guys, yes, that's him talking about spanking her and whatever. Okay, we've seen enough of that for the day. But I want to now have a look at another 1 second now. Y'all want some voice notes? You clearly want some voice notes. Of course, with George, we always have to be very, very careful with voice notes because unfortunately, he has a potty mouth that is like, oh my God. It's quite something, yeah? So his potty mouth means that anything attached to his voice, we need to be extremely, extremely careful. Because he will curse like he cursed worse than a sailor. El Rey says that Alejandro is saying that she's leading him and setting his expectations. No, he's leading her. And unfortunately, she could not put her foot down. Diamond Princess says, as women, we need not to be accepting regardless of how much we're in need. And they are ways of achieving things. Well, I agree with you, Diamond Princess, but y'all need to take a look around the place and see how many marriages of convenience in these bars every single day that this type of behavior is going on. And some of our political leaders engage in it as well. These girls are desperate. So they're like, listen, the only asset I have is my body. And if that's what these men want and that's all they see me for, and it's a shame that George actually has daughters because he needs to think about them for a minute. That's unfortunate. 15, 16-year-old girls having relationships with big men because once again, They have grown up to know that that's the only asset they have is their bodies. And we need to change this discourse and change this dialogue. They become adults. 3 years later, and you're in your 30s and you're still allowing men to use you for their sexual pleasure and nothing else. This man doesn't know you. He doesn't know anything about you. He doesn't know anything about your personality. In less than 1 hour, he's already taken the conversation down a very dark sexual route. It's easy to tell these women to step up, to stop this behavior. Why is it not as easy for us to stop men like George? That's my question. Why are you putting all the burden on, it's the woman's job to always stop the man? When is it going to be the men's job to stop pursuing women like this? How many women is George going to do this for or do this with? Yeah? How many? Miss Dorleen says, Sandy, please send Cindy to Marl Road Jailhouse. Oh my gosh. These people are desperate. Bobby says, talk the things, Alejandro. George is a married man and supposed to be a professional. He should act as such, says Monica. Thank you. Aquina says, well, what Sandy's trying to say is there's a power imbalance, and I understand her point. Thank you, because I think a lot of people still are not understanding that. And that's what leads to sexual harassment. Right now, we have a sexual harassment bill, folks, that is out there for consultation. It's people like George that this bill is meant to address. And he's a habitual offender. RD says the lodge has low standards if George is in it. And so much for being a secret society when he's using it to try and get punani. You know that he actually gave the woman a ring? Yes, he's a married man. He gave her a ring. She never wore it because she thought, because he's part of this secret society and she doesn't really understand what that means, she actually thought that there might be some obia involved. You have to understand the victims here. And yes, I'm calling her a victim of George's. Someone who would say that, like, I think he's trying to put some obia in me and in whatever. I don't trust, is an easy victim. Amanda, good morning. She says, I'm not defending George, but she's also deceiving him. She's not deceiving him. How is she deceiving him? He's making the moves on her. She's like, okay, yeah, okay. Maybe she's interested. The bottom line is, she's desperate enough to want to get here that she'll probably say anything. We had a date. What is it? How is George so bad when you and him had a date according to you? Me and George had a date? Selvin, are you crazy? Please rewind yourself and go listen to the show. George has invited me out even after he cussing and going on about how, I didn't tell him he was live on radio. He continues to invite me out. And I have said, no, I am not somebody to trifle with. Yeah. I don't need nothing from George. Like I told him unequivocally in this program, I look at me and ask me if I need a free lunch. I can feed myself. I don't need a man to buy me anything. Good morning, caller. So I don't know what you're talking about a date with George. Don't get it twisted. That's not me, honey child. No, sir. A date with George, you got to be out of your damn mind. Not today, Bobo, not ever. All right. Final video. These are more recent messages from March. So this now, again, he always starts the conversation. Hi, honey. Busy babes. She says, hi, how are you? Love you, though. She says, hi, how are you? You okay? At this point now, she's in Cayman. He says, yep. Hope to be back to normal by tomorrow with some normal work hours. She says, okay. Have you eaten? He says, now doing that. He sends her the article from Cayman News Service about how he quits off-right counsel. She says, great, glad you're okay. He says, read. Okay, I will. He's a bit demanding. Then he starts showing his garden, supposedly. Talking about flower garden contest, 4 hours part-time work, times 4 Saturdays later. God is awesome. God indeed. Siblings, my garden project, 99% done. She says, great. Now at this point, she's saying to him, are you still going to lend me the $100? So now March, all these months later, she is saying, are you going to lend me this money? And I guess he had promised it. We didn't see no conversation about that. Of course, he doesn't respond. She says, are you okay? Can you get me a copy of a letter that I need extended time? What did he say? Proud of my wifey? Come look for me, please. A kiss. So again, the woman's asking like, oh, about a letter, whatever. She needs to get time. And who was talking about kisses, but not George? She says, I'm home. I reach home long time. That's my kind of woman. Get off the roads, them. Yeah, because that's how you can keep all these multiple women, again, pretending like you're not a married man. Because if they're on the road, they might actually see you out with your wife and children. See what he says? Hold on. Let me pause that now. Y'all trying to put more blame on her, right? All is super, honey. But what does he say he needs? The woman not having no sex talk with him. Look at the conversation here. How are you doing? Hope you're well. He's the one who takes it there. She's in green. Read very, very carefully. What is he talking about he needs from her? All she says is, okay. I think at this point, she's starting to distance herself a bit. Probably had it. It wasn't any good because George lied about his skills in the bedroom. She says, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. Says, I texted you the other day checking on you, but didn't get an answer. He says, yes, I try to stay off to get more work done. All of a sudden he can try and stay off the phone. She says, okay, I realize, and that's understandable. Have you eaten? Then he says, what? Again, sexual talk. The woman not saying nothing about no sex, Notice who is driving the sexual conversation. Yeah? Have a look, folks. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Sandy. Good morning.
Morning. How can I help?
Hi, Sandy. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did this lady took? I don't know who is this judge, but I just want to ask a question. Did this lady take anything from judge?
Well, he was sending her money, so yeah, she took the money, obviously. Yes.
Okay. All right, Sandy. Look at this. We are all women. You understand? And what we women must understand, if we taking things from man, we are entertaining them. You understand? She should not take anything from judge. I don't know who this judge is, but I don't think she should be, because she entertaining something that is the reason why a lot of us get our dead. Yes, Sandy, it's really because that is if you listen and watch on the media day by day, a lot of women, they find them dead there, here, there, and everywhere because of these things. But Sandy, I think she is wrong. She should not entertain.
But why are you giving her more wrong than him when he is in a position of authority over her?
Miss Sandy, that is a man. That is what men do, but we women supposed to know ourselves. That's what we're going through here, Miss Sandy.
Mhm.
Not in Cayman alone, all over the world, men do these things. But we, as a woman, supposed to stand up as a woman. She should not entertain the man. I don't say the man is right, but she giving the man, she give the man a reason. She give the man, because Miss Sandy, if I am in Cayman or wherever and I'm taking money from a man, I give him a reason to do what he want to do with me.
That's a reason? Wow.
She should not take anything. If I don't need the man, don't take him things. If you don't want to be in anything with the man, do not take them things. Right now, it can cost her life. And these are things that cost a lot of us life because we don't look into ourselves and see what we are doing, what is wrong. I think she's wrong.
But I think that, listen, I'm not giving her any right, but I think the responsibility needs to stand with the person who's the driving force. These men, it's the same things. When a man sees a woman out there and he rapes her, oh, everybody, what was she wearing? How was she dressed? I think as a community, we're quick to blame women for their part in this. They're the Jezebels. They're the this, they're the that. What about the men?
Miss Sandy, what I can say for myself, I will not take, and I will never take things from a man. If I know I don't want to be in anything with, I'm not troubling him. If I even see him on the road and him said X, Y, Z or what have you, you understand, me not entertain him. Me not drive with him, me not take nothing from him, me not want nothing to do with him, me not entertain him. Me not doing it. She entertained the man too much, Sandy. She do it too much. She should stop. If she even started, she should stop. She should have stopped.
Well, it looked like in this conversation now that I'm playing, she has stopped and he's continuing to persist. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So the woman she's the one who must stop him. But even look at this. Cameron says she should have told her employer and have another consultant handle her permit, or was George her employer? So George was handling the permit as a consultant for her, for the company that she worked for. Right? Now, at this point, folks, as you can see from the conversation, she's apparently done with the sex talk, but George continues. So seems a lot of you don't think that she's a victim. Well, I tell you what, there are victims out there, and it's so interesting how people see the situation. Did she have an opportunity to stop the conversation?
Everything, you all right? Like you ghost me a little.
Yeah. So hold on. What does he say? I'm just here, super busy, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, okay. She's asking him about her work permit.
You haven't done nothing to me. I haven't done nothing to you. I love you. I want you. I need you. I love you. I adore you. You know that. But I've been busy. God has been blessing me, and I've been basking in his glory and his blessings. I've been working long hours, babes. A lot of work, and I'm focusing on building my company up. I'm going after every opportunity, plus others. I've just been busy, babes. That's all. Yes, I miss you, but I know that you want your freedom, and you were the one who changed the rules, or your people, saying that you couldn't be out, whenever we're together, you're watching your clock, like what time it is, so I have to go back. Whenever we can't go that night because, that's a problem. So I have accepted that.
So listen to this very, very carefully, right? He's now saying that she's changing the rules. This is a woman who does not want to be with him. And even now in this moment when she's trying to make it clear, listen to what George says. Oh, you're the one who's changed the rules. We can't go out at this time. I mean, I think y'all need to give this woman a little bit of slack. I mean, I'm a bit surprised that you don't see the issue here with the power and the games that this man is playing over her in his position, even as someone who is still in charge of getting her work permit. Remember, he promised her to get her better work permit. Well, this now is what he's trying to do as of March.
I've adopted my working style around that. I've been working till 2 o'clock most nights. Last night I left here after midnight again, I think it was. No, last night I went home early. I went to bed. I was in bed by 9 o'clock. I slept a good night. Woke up 6 o'clock this morning and I feel fantastic. So I'm working around. I'm really working well today because I had my sleep. I'm fine, babes. I'm not upset at you. I'm giving you your freedom and your independence because I value that. I think you're a classy woman and you need that. I'm always here to support you if I have the money. You know, things have been tight. I had some expenses this month. I had.
Yeah, because remember he's.
But it's so far away. I had to go by the other day to get another extension because the 1 week one that I got did up. So I had to go and get a second one. I had to pay $50 and get that second one. I got a 2 weeks extension. So when this 2 weeks is up, because the 2 weeks is gonna up on the 10th of April, what should I do next? Extension because the 1 week one that I got did up. So I had to go and get a second one. I had to pay $50 and get that second one. I got a 2 weeks extension. So when this 2 weeks is up, because the 2 weeks is gonna up on the 10th.
So then he says about CBC, he's complaining about them. But at least you have me to look after you and guide you. Miss you, Tony babes. You making little or no time for me. You want to break up? This is George who's saying these things. She says, did I tell you that?
What should I do next? Since it's the 12th.
It's been 2 months since I've had the pleasure of your company.
Depression leak me, you know, because me there me can't support my kids them back home, none at all. And it a kill me, man.
Well, yes, Dorothy says he might be backing up because of her financial demands. Well, he was the one who was giving it to her. She wasn't demanding anything. Now she needs $100, I guess, for her extension. He says, I'm low on funds too, so can't really give you any cash allowance. She says, that's okay. So what financial demands? I have yet to see, other than the one message there where she said, the $100 that you promised me. I don't see this woman making any demands on him. Then he says, let's not fight and argue, okay, babes? Just tell me, what should tell you, what the hell? Just tell me you won some, see, sex talks again. And I can live with that. P, after you get your permit, but start to work and more relax, okay, baby doll? She's having no sex conversation with him at this point, and he is persisting. That's all George is. It's like P to the power of the purse. This is power of the something else. This is all he's focused on. He say what he says. She says, okay, you can't say more than that. Okay, kiss my effing teeth. Then she finally says, she did, she said, okay, yep, it's yours. I just want to work. Get that off my mind. Y'all don't see the undue pressure that this man is putting. Listen to me. He lucky. He's able to find some people. I tell you what, it wouldn't be me. It definitely would not be me. Y'all need to be aware of George. He's a friggin' predator. Y'all need to wake up. The woman, this long conversation, she not have no conversation. Tell me he wants his ring back. She tell me he can get his ring. She don't want the ring. See what he says? Hope you have told any man that has made any advances to you that you have a very jealous man who loves you and you love him. All she says is, okay. This man is really, really sick on a different level. He's an old man, says Jonathan, trying to shoot his last shot before the gun is empty. He's a man with a wife. So Moya says that he starts sending her songs, religious songs, which is funny. Yes, she may have been wrong for taking the things, but considering he used her information that was provided in a business format for his personal use to contact her in a sexual context was unprofessional. And I'm wondering if he breached the data protection law. Oh, that's a good question, Ms. Moya. I hadn't even thought of that. Caller, good morning. Hello? All right, that's a good question. Data protection. It's very interesting. People who are hiring him need to know that this is what he's doing to their workers. Ms. Dean says, so why George never stopped as a married man with children and daughters? I think plus he should be more professional regarding his job. Again, here he comes again. She says, blessings, how are you? Just saying hi. He's the one who then replies, I need you tonight, baby. Can you do anything about that personal sex need? Yeah, as I figured. You hear how salty he is? I've been a real joke to you. You're laughing at how stupid I am. I'm sure, playing mind games now with the poor woman, poor her. I want us to break up, okay? I'll pick up my ring tomorrow. You really don't care about me or my needs because his needs are only related to sex. Just the one thing. And she says, I told you I didn't have my phone. Yes, you can come pick up the ring. Must be a new girl that you found. What girl? He had others. You're not gonna worry about that. All you doing is jump into conclusions. He says, okay, I love you, but never can see you, honey. You're not getting it enough. Just be lonely at times. Oh my God. Talking about he hasn't had it in months. Can we meet up? Make out? You seem to never leave him. Well, you seem to never leave him. You must agree that we have fallen out of love. Well, that was quick. Just because we have not made the efforts to see each other or to be with each other. She says, good morning. Oh my God. So she says, you're the one who drives, not me. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, well, you guys say George has done no wrong here. So, okay, if y'all say so, put the blame on her. Kadisha says he did the same thing to a friend of mine, all inviting her out for lunch out of order. Yeah, that seems to be his MO. Like I said, there's certain caliber of people I do not sit and break bread with. And George happens to be in that caliber. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to show you guys. Hold on. There was one part of this that was actually quite amusing where he mentioned CMR. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this bit where he says something about there's this woman who is always taking his picture and out to get information on him. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this bit because I thought this was funny. Oh, yes. On page 35, here, he does make a mention of me, which is really, really interesting. Let me see, Yes. So he says, this is in December. He wants to keep low key, right? She says, once I'm happy with you, I'll stay low key, okay? So he was telling her why he has to keep everything on the down low. So he uses me as an excuse and says, especially one tabloid. Ooh, he says, I'm very well known here. Let's back up. I'm very well known here, and that's why I have to be careful going out sometimes. The press. Y'all see that right there? The press is onto him, he says. So this is why he's going to keep her on the down low, especially one tabloid that loves to snap me whenever they see me out with someone. I was like, what? I've never snapped George being out with anybody. This man is so delusional. Right? Anyway, he goes on, because they think I will run in the next political election here, and the owner hates me for some reason. That's me. He says that I think he's going to run in the next election. I hate him for some reason. Well, first of all, George, you can never run for political office. So let's set the record straight, because that's a lie. I know, and you've been convicted of fraud, which means that you're ineligible to ever run for political office in this country. Ever, ever, ever. I've known that from when you were convicted all those years ago. So what you claim that I have an issue with you because I think you're going to run in the next election is hogwash. It's not true and it's stupid. Yeah? And I've never seen you out anywhere with any woman and snapped your picture. So I don't know who you think is following you around. Benji says, from what I can see, they of them are wrong. This all speaks to all of the standards of man and women, mind games and deceit. What a mess. Garrett says, I tend to believe that if it starts fast, it ends fast. I think he needs a vibrator, says Alejandro. What the hell? Well, y'all can put money together and get him a sex toy because clearly his young wife in her early 20s is not enough to satisfy him. Kathy's saying, so where is his wife? Oh, Lord. Because he is sick in his mind. Still on air, honey. Give me about another 15 minutes or so. All right. Okay, dear. When you're in a desperate situation, people do these types of things to you. She's desperate, and he knew that. This is what I'm saying. He is taking advantage of these people, and she's not the only victim. Anyway, y'all have been warned. If you fall victim to George now, you have been warned that this is his MO, and this is what he does. Unique says George is wrong on all levels, and we're all established that the lady's wrong and needs to take responsibility as well, because since coming to Cayman, she still entertained him, not just the sexual content. Well, as you can see, the more recent conversation, she's not entertaining him at all, and he is continuing to do so. He's only asking her for one thing, and the woman is clearly not interested. Everington says it's a shame. It's a shame. She's desperate, and he's just using her to fulfill his needs. George is a disgrace. Mr. Goodlook says, and you got the Tindler swindler, and in Cayman, you got the immigration swindler. They both just as bad as one another, sounds like. He thinks his work is for dating. No, son. Marshall says, I want to know which woman in Jamaica is going to turn down money for hair and nails and phone credit coming from a man in Cayman. Sydney talking about let's go on a lunch date with him. Girl, you've got to be crazy. Like I said, I do not break bread with certain people. My digestion, my stomach wouldn't even be able to digest my food. That's how I feel about George. Not today, Bobo. Anne says his wife is a rather young lady who works in a low-paying job, even if she has a cleaning service on the side. I mean, he has to listen. All his women, he gets this way, and then when he gets them, he doesn't even know how to treat them. So, I don't know. You call George, honey child. He said I don't have permission to call him anymore. I will only call him in relation to content on the show. He definitely needs help. He has no impulse control. Yeah. I mean, again, this is a man who is like what, late 50s, early 60s, maybe. And this poor woman is so scared she's actually leaving the jurisdiction. Me and you, not George. Well, you can go with George all you want. I will not be breaking bread or anything else with George. He's a sick man. I know it's easy to set. I understand, Mimi, the point, and it's very easy to say set boundaries when you have that choice. And I feel like, unfortunately, there's a lot of men here who take advantage of, and maybe women too, who take advantage of people who are not in a position to say no or to set boundaries as we think. It's just not that easy for them to do so. Anyway, it is what it is. Obviously, women will continue and men will continue to be taken advantage of. If y'all don't get it, y'all don't get it. This person wants to know the show number. They said this victim blaming is pissing me off. Her skin must have been crawling the whole time. This person says, why is he so angry just tuning in? Georgie, Porgy, pudding pie, kissing the girls and making them cry. OMG. That man is deluded, sorry. Sending gospel songs in the same conversation as he asking her for front And he doesn't see anything wrong with that. Clearly not, honey child. So he getting her work permit for an employer, his client, but yet he's doing or going to find a new or better job for her when she gets here. By the way, this is something that George does all the time. Again, if you're using his services, another company contacted me, one of his church brethren, no less, and said he did the exact same thing, except the worker reported him to the employer. Oh, I can get you a job paying more money than this little small Caymanian business is paying you. Immigration needs to look at him as a so-called consultant. They better review all the fraudulent behavior they saw in those messages, him signing people's work permits and all sorts of other stuff. They better pay very, very close attention to what he's doing because, yes, he's always promising. Keep in mind, by the way, this is the same man who recently posted on his social media that only multi-generational Caymanians should be able to own businesses. But what he does is he takes advantage of those poor people and work permits. Oh, I'm going to help you to get a better job. Now, he had put in a permit for her. And unfortunately, for her, it didn't get approved anyway. But this is what he does, promising them positions that they're not even qualified for. This person says, you're speaking about it now, my dear. You're trying your best to try to stop this abuse and speaking and keep speaking about it. What a mess. Someone says, wouldn't the data protection law cover this harassment a bit? He breached that act by using the person's information from a business capacity for his own personal use. It's a good question. It's a very good question, actually. Morning, caller.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi. I just wanted to say I agree with you 100%. It's really a shame that anybody could call to defend what he has done. I think that women have been struggling for centuries, playing along, trying to please men just to get to a goal. And for her goal is to take care of her children.
Yes.
And that is a driving force behind everything that I think that she has done.
Exactly.
And I think, right. So I just wanted to add that there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because you see her keep saying that. She just wants a better life for herself. She's like, please don't hurt me. I've already been hurt. I'm trying to better my life for my children. I just want to work. Like she kept saying that over and over again. And yes, I mean, obviously she started to engage him, when she shouldn't have. But, she's not the one who started the conversation. She's not the pusher. Even now, March going into April, she's not the one who is, encouraging the sex talk and engaging in it, but he is.
But I can't imagine being somewhere desperate for employment and somebody's texting me who's in the position to give me this employment. And then he started to talk about sex. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell do I do?
Yeah.
So she's obviously playing along, trying her best to, get him to do what she needs him to do for her, which is for her to get the employment. And it's just really sad that he's using his job to do something like that. And it was just absolutely shocking how fast he started. Not even a day, not even an hour.
Yes, right away.
It was shocking.
Right away. And this is the thing. He's obviously been doing this before.
Yeah,
wow.
And it tells me that something is deeply, deeply wrong with him. He's deeply, deeply disturbed. He didn't even wait right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's really shocking. And then the position that he's in. Imagine how she must have felt, well, like, what is going on? Another part of it could be that she probably was, because he came onto her so strong and he was showing her this and showing her that, she might have felt that maybe this is going to be good for me. Maybe I'm going to get the things I need for my kids. So she was probably hopeful at one point as well. But when she came here, now she realized, this is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And her skin must have been crawling just talking to him. And then I don't know how he has all the time in the day to text like that.
Clearly not getting much done.
24/7.
Yes, this person says Sandy George is a groomer. What will the vulnerable lady do? She wants her work permit. She's not able to wade off a sex offender like George. And they sent me some signs of grooming, an article about the signs of grooming.
He was pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
With her. And then she probably felt as if she didn't have any choice because she did have 3 hungry mouths to feed. And a lot of people probably don't appreciate that.
Someone says his wife just tuned in. Oh, did she? At 9:27? Well, honey child, if you're George's wife, you need to feel free to message you and I'll send you the entire conversation, because either you're in a fraudulent marriage with this man if you remain married to him, or you're another victim of his and he probably did the exact same thing to you. Caller, I appreciate the call. We do have another caller in the other line. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. You're still on the line?
Yes, still on air.
Oh, because the radio has cut off. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're still live.
Can I call back, please?
All right.
I'll just say some of what, but it's some other things I want to talk to you about. You know, it's unfortunate when women become.
Speak up just a little bit. I'm barely hearing
No, I
you.
said it's unfortunate. There's other things I would like to talk about
Yes.
here, so I'll call you back later. But I'll just say quickly, it's sad when a woman becomes a victim of circumstances, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, from long time, you know, we have to honestly value ourselves, because these days, all a woman looks like in a man's eyes is a mattress on 2 legs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's sad. So until you value yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you can know, you could see that for 100 miles off the intent of this person, the type of person. He's a very sick person, sadly needing help. And until he comes to the place to realize that he needs help, it's going to be destructive to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you pursue will destroy you as long as it is not a good thing.
Yep.
And it's sad. It's just sad. It's just like oh God, an accident waiting to happen with everybody, every woman out there.
Mm-hmm.
So may other women learn from this one experience. Value yourself.
Yep.
You know, I don't care how bad your situations, we all have them. But to become a victim of a circumstance is sad.
It is very sad.
I want, if she's listening, just to tell her that she's worth more than this. More than this. You know? And anyway, pleasure only lasts for a time, you know. But I'll call you back with some other issues.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bless you.
So somebody
Okay.
says that that's a lie about you not to take things from man. Well, I guess what everybody's saying is a lot of these men have an expectation. This person says something is wrong with him. This is serious. Another person says, clearly, George is too fast for me. Clearly has too much time on his hands. He needs an escort service. So immature and pervy. But this is what it is, folks. This is what it is. Anyway, it's unbelievable. This person says George beat his first wife so much that she was scared even to hear his name. The second wife was a waitress at Alfresco. He threatened her, then had sex with her, got her pregnant, and married her so that she could stay and be his sex slave. He is sick. Like I said, it's unfortunate that we don't always identify and see predators for who they are. This is predatory behavior, no matter how you take it. And I guess he'll continue to get a pass until he does it to one of your family members. And then y'all will say, oh, look, you know, look at what Sandy's been trying to tell us about this man for a long time. I don't know. But every single company now that utilizes his services, they need to be aware that through his business, he is seeking out victims to do this to. And this is very, very egregious. Gabby says plenty of Jamaican women are struggling, but they will work hard and find other ways to get by before selling out themselves. Janetta says get assists from another agent because he isn't the only agent Cayman. But that's not her choice. That's the company she's trying to work for. She didn't hire George. That's the company. And I'm sure anybody, if you're not even familiar with the work permit system and how it works, you're going to feel a way. Your employer has not even hired you yet, and you're going to run out and make a complaint about some guy that they've hired. You don't know what the nature of their relationship is. I mean, I just think it's really, really easy for us to throw out like, oh, well, she should have done this and she should have done that. And I think people don't understand being desperate and trying to get to another country and the level of complexities. It's even different when you're desperate in your own country and your own country people are willing to help you or helping you or whatever, right? You don't know any, this woman doesn't know much about Cayman. You heard her say she's never worked here before. She doesn't understand the system. This is why so many employers here take advantage of people. And I think that is really quite egregious. Anyway, folks, that's all we've got today for you. Tomorrow we'll talk about, we obviously have Health City on for their usual segment. And then we're going to talk about this BRAC baby situation. I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest. I mean, this woman has said a lot, and a lot of it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I have to admit that I'm confused about what she said. People have a lot of questions for the mother of that BRAC child. And her now calling out the police to say that they're not doing their jobs. People are saying to her, well, you haven't done your job as a mother. So, we'll ask the police if they have any comment on that. But the police have said from months ago, the autopsy was completed. The family, including her, the parents at least, were notified of the results of the autopsy. So why are you speaking out now that your child was murdered and you know who murdered the child? We need to dissect this because it's a very strange situation indeed. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. Here's a summary of some of Cayman's latest headlines. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is seeking the public's assistance in locating 26-year-old Malik Joseph McDonald, who was last known to be living in Georgetown. He is wanted by police for firearms offenses. He is known to be violent and is believed to be armed and dangerous. The police are advising that he should not be approached by members of the public, but instead call 911 upon sighting him. The mother of her 2-year-old child who was found dead in Cayman Brac last year has accused the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service of not doing enough in investigating the incident, adding she believed that her daughter was murdered. Alicity Powell's body was found over 1 mile from her home after she was reported missing by her mom last July. 15 people were killed in 14 fatal motor vehicle collisions in the Cayman Islands last year. Officers attended nearly 3,000 accidents, an increase of 11% compared to 2021. On average, there were 56 accidents each week in the Cayman Islands. Caymanian actress Grace Byers and her husband Trey Byers have welcomed their first child, a baby boy. Byers, who is celebrating her 7th year anniversary with her husband, revealed in a social media post on Friday that she has given birth. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:06, sunny along with a few clouds, when the temperature's at 84 degrees Fahrenheit and the humidity at 71% like the forecast calls for. It will feel like it's in the high 80s. Winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 6:44. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the high 70s. Looking forward, similar weather conditions are expected. If you would like to know more on any of these stories, visit CaymanMallRoad.com or follow Cayman Mall Road on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.
for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.